The man makes what he thinks is a harmless joke, but the system takes it to a god-tier level of understanding. In just an instant, the massive logistic structure sustaining human civilization vanishes into thin air. But when he looks again, this wasteland has become his absolute domain. What was once a catastrophic disaster has now become this man's first step to world domination. Not long ago, I was just an ordinary logistics sorter. My daily work consisted of either logging sorted item information or chatting with the robot Pax. Unfortunately, this robot is thick-headed, only caring about packages and completely clueless about human warmth, and there are thousands more robots just like this one in this fulfillment center. This makes me regret just for a moment taking this job. 2 months ago, I was discharged from the military with a hefty savings account, no worries about food or expenses, plus an apartment with 6 months of rent paid by my parents. I was living the life. Just when I thought I could work part-time at a coffee shop and maybe find romance, reality gave me a harsh wake-up call. I visited countless shops, but they all wanted experienced workers only. The scene was just like fresh college graduates job hunting this year. I spent over a month searching for part-time work. Countless rejections left me physically and mentally exhausted, like a walking corpse every day. But persistence pays off. My eldest sister recommended a courier company, giving my desperate situation a glimmer of hope, and that's how I ended up here. But this fully automated logistics company does have living people, like manager Shin here, who abuses his position to make me do all the dirty work. This time, he wants me to find some tuna, says we're running low. Despite all my resentment, I can only swallow it for the sake of this job. I quickly arrive at the warehouse storing various items. Soon I find where the tuna is located. Right then, the door suddenly slams shut, leaving me completely stunned. The enclosed space makes me panic. I quickly pull out my phone to call manager Shin, but the call is met with a cold automated voice saying the number is temporarily unavailable. This leaves me helpless. But then I think, well, it's not a freezer, so I'll just wait. So I sit down and start chatting with my sisters. But as we chat, their voices disappear. Looking closely, the signal's been cut off. The next second, the ground shakes violently, nearly making me drop my phone. The alarm goes off. All employees, please proceed immediately to the loading bay for shelter. All employees, please proceed immediately to the loading bay for shelter. The enclosed space, shaking ground, and blaring alarm. All of this makes me sense something's terribly wrong. So I decide to bang on the door for help, but no one responds. Actually, something does respond. To be precise, some unknown creature is pounding on the other side of the door. The sturdy door is being dented inward. Terrifying roars echo from time to time. At this moment, I realize I absolutely cannot make any more noise. Otherwise, there's only one outcome: death. The creature outside is definitely not human, but some horrifying monster. I spend 3 days in the warehouse like this. Fortunately, there's plenty of food, canned goods when I'm hungry, bottled water when I'm thirsty. During this time, the monster outside disappears, but no one comes to rescue me either, though I don't know if it's war or what. Being trapped here actually saved my life. I don't know how long I can hold out. My phone's about to die anyway. I should at least leave a note. With that thought, I start typing on my phone. Suddenly, a mechanical voice echoes in my mind, and a pop-up appears before my eyes. You have been selected. Please confirm your awakened ability. This leaves me stunned. What the hell is this? Before I can think much, the pop-up changes instantly. It clearly shows that my ability seems to be storing objects in front of me into a subspace. This is ridiculous. I must be going crazy. If I can really store anything, then let's store the entire PAX fulfillment center. As soon as the words leave my mouth, there's a loud bang. The surrounding buildings actually vanish, leaving me standing alone, stunned. What's going on? Did I get out? But why is everything outside in ruins? Ding! That cold voice appears again. Beginning storage. The next second, my stomach churns violently. It feels like something's being loaded into my brain. After a long while, I gradually adapt. Right then, a massive shadow appears beside me. This is definitely not a human shadow. At this moment, there's only one word in my mind: run. 1 second of thought later, I bolt, shouting for help at the top of my lungs. The monster is clearly enraged by this. It catches up to me in 2 strides. I curse inwardly. What the hell is this thing, and why is it so fast? But just as the orc is about to grab me, a door suddenly appears right in front of me. When I open my eyes, that door has separated me from the orc. I wonder if it can't get in. Then Pax beside me responds, correct. Without the approval of the subspace owner Jung Yom, no living beings, objects, or energy can enter or exit this place. Isn't this Pax? How is it here? To verify my suspicion, I turn around. Sure enough, I see the familiar fulfillment center and mountains of supplies. That pop-up didn't lie. It really stored the entire PAX fulfillment center. Congratulations on your first entry into the subspace. You are rewarded 1 magic stone. As the voice finishes, a glowing stone appears before my eyes. Then the pop-up continues explaining. Current PAX fulfillment center level is 1. Total area exceeds 10,000 square meters. Shipping speed 60 kilometers per hour. Shipping size limit 2 meters. Remaining operational time 2 minutes. I'm somewhat surprised after reading this. How do I increase operational time? Pax responds. You can use the magic stones you possess to provide energy to facilities within the subspace. 1 magic stone currently allows the subspace to operate for 24 hours. I see. So that's what magic stones are for. So Pax, how do I obtain magic stones? You can obtain magic stones by eliminating beings from other worlds. Beings from other worlds. That must mean the thing outside. Whatever, let's power up first. It would be bad if the food spoiled. With that, I hand over the only magic stone I have to Pax. In just 1 second, power is restored. Now I gather some weapons to deal with the orc. But inventory is limited. I'll need to use them sparingly. accordingly since stock is finite. With that, I take out a small axe. I wind up and throw it, but the attack doesn't seem to cause much damage, only cutting through a layer of skin. This makes me panic. At this rate of consumption, I probably can't kill it even if I throw everything. There's only one axe in the box now. Stock might have 2 more. Pax, how many axes are left in stock? Pax responds without hesitation. 15 remaining. This confuses me. I even think the machine malfunctioned, because I clearly remember the first axes I took out were 15. Refusing to believe it, I decide to go back and check. After searching, there really are 15 axes, Pax explains. Because items here are generated after actual objects are converted into information, they can be replicated. Although they may become damaged or deformed, they will never run out. Hearing this, it suddenly dawns on me. In other words, this is actually a fulfillment center with infinite inventory. Doesn't that mean I can throw axes freely without thinking about tactics? But if I keep throwing, my shoulder will definitely dislocate from the strain, Pax says. You don't need to throw them yourself. You can choose to have items automatically shipped outside the subspace. However, shipping is limited to once every 30 seconds. Upgrading skills can shorten shipping time. Well, that makes it easy then. Let's experiment. Ship. Almost as soon as I speak, an axe precisely hits the orc's head. This move totally impresses me. Wait, what's with this speed? How is it so fast? Pax explains. Because the current shipping speed is set at 60 kilometers per hour. You can still adjust it. At the current level, maximum speed can reach 75 kilometers per hour. This truly shocks me. But with this shipping skill, at least my safety is guaranteed. Then I change into military gear. Tactical boots, tactical pants, everything gets equipped. After all preparations are complete, I spread out the map and start planning the route. First to Gangnam District, then Uljiro-dobong District, and finally to Uijeongbu where my parents are. This is the shortest route I can plan, and my vehicle is a heavy-duty bicycle. But this is already pretty good, at least better than nothing. After preparations, I depart immediately, just hoping everyone is safe. 30 minutes later, I've cycled 2.5 kilometers. During this time, I've already hunted down 12 orcs. And during this hunting process, I understand 2 things. First is the understanding of my ability. Before, I was probably too frantic to pay attention to these details. But when I calm down and study it carefully, I realize my ability is like having cheat codes activated. Although the accuracy is sometimes low, there's a cooldown time and a 10-meter range limit. But as long as I collect magic stones for enhancement, these issues can be improved. Plus, Pax's abilities aren't limited to shipping. It also has an auto-retrieve skill for shipped items. This skill is just as convenient to use as shipping, although ordinary items like axes don't really need retrieving. Oh, and I don't know the principle, but Pax's skill can actually retrieve magic stones. Anyway, it's very convenient for me. At least I don't have to dissect orcs myself. As for the other thing, it's that the monsters appearing in this world besides orcs include many extraordinary creatures, like that wyvern in the sky catching a river deer, clearly not to be messed with. Right then, deafening cries for help echo in the distance. As a discharged soldier, I really can't ignore this, so I hurry over on my heavy-duty bicycle. Next, one axe sends the wyvern straight to hell to meet its maker. Both people are stunned by this absurd move. One axe with such power, they immediately bow to thank me. Thank you so much, soldier sir. Seeing their misunderstanding, I quickly point to the logo on my clothes to show I'm not a soldier, but from their expressions, they seem convinced I'm military. Whatever. I then ask them why they're here. The man doesn't hide anything. You probably know Building C maybe has a fulfillment center. Many people gathered here, but it also attracted many monsters, so quite a few people died. Some died from attacks, others were eaten by monsters. About 15 or 16 people died. The survivors are trapped underground at a freight station with fewer monsters. We came from there. Originally wanted to find a passable road and necessities, but because the fulfillment center suddenly disappeared. By the way, want to come with us? Can't guarantee anything else, but at least you can sleep soundly. After hearing this, I hesitate. Honestly, in an apocalypse, I can't trust anyone, especially people I just met. But he mentioned passable roads. They might have vehicles, plus I don't lack food or a place to sleep, but I do lack information and transportation, so I agree to their request. Besides, even if they're hostile, I can escape to the subspace. Probably won't be too dangerous. Soon we arrive at their shelter area, but the man before me makes me shiver involuntarily. Why do I feel some danger? The man asks sternly. Who are you? Haven't seen you before. Old Choi quickly introduces. He saved us from the wyvern. Says he used to work at Pax Fulfillment Center, but he's very strong. Killed the wyvern with just one axe. At this, everyone starts discussing, mostly about my ability, but there doesn't seem to be the malice I imagined. Instead, they're very warm, as if genuinely thanking me. This makes me dazed for a moment. Were the movies all lies? Or is it that the apocalypse just started and people aren't wary yet? Surprised? Because we've worked together for over 10 years, Yong-soo and Byung-chol are like family to us. By the way, I didn't get to introduce myself. I'm Jin Mok, manager of Daehyun Express. Thank you so much for saving Yong-soo and Byung-chol. He bows deeply. This really catches me off guard. Hello, I'm Jong Gyeom. After introductions, Jin Mok takes me around and shares a lot of information. Currently, all lanes are blocked. Above is blocked by a golf course, east by containers, south by road collapse. So the only way out is the tunnel to the west, but that tunnel happens to be occupied by a flock of wyverns. But don't worry about food and water. We've stored plenty. If it's not enough, we can get more from the fulfillment center. Just as he finishes, Yong-soo hesitantly speaks up. Manager, that fulfillment center seems to have disappeared without any trace. Everyone's faces changed drastically. The entire fulfillment center disappeared? Is that even possible? Byung-chol also explains. means it's because the fulfillment center disappeared that we got attacked by the wyvern. This statement makes me feel somewhat guilty. Just as everyone starts to worry, Jin Mok steps forward. Everyone, don't lose heart. Then let's dig through the tunnel according to plan ahead of schedule. After all, staying here will only lead to a worse situation. I don't react much to this sudden situation. Rather, there's no need to show my ability in front of them. Although everyone is friendly, there's one thing that can't be ignored. Although they said they stored plenty of food and water, they didn't tell me exactly how much. Meaning, once food runs out, everyone will definitely turn on each other. If necessary, I still need to investigate alone. After thinking, I tell Jin Mok I want to scout alone. Jin Mok understands I don't want to expose my ability, so he agrees. But Young-Soo is still worried about my safety, so he comes with me. I didn't agree at first, but Young-Soo's awakened driving ability is just too strong. Even on a heavy-duty bicycle, he can ride with a wind-breaking sound. Of course, if wyverns appear along the way, I'll handle them. So we quickly arrive at our destination, but the atmosphere around us feels wrong. Looking closely, we're actually surrounded by a flock of wyverns. Seeing this, Young-Soo thinks we're done for. Even with a bicycle, so what? I, on the other hand, calmly open the system panel and consume 10 magic stones to shorten shipping cooldown time. Young-Soo is puzzled about what I'm doing, but before he can think much, the wyverns fly straight at us. But the next second, several axes precisely hit the wyverns' heads. When Young-Soo opens his eyes again, the scene before him makes his jaw drop. Not because the wyvern attacks failed, but because of the entire fulfillment center behind me. After witnessing my power, the remaining surviving wyverns all flee in panic. After a long while, Young-Soo slowly stands up. Your ability is way too strong. Pax can actually shoot axes like bullets. With this kind of ability, you could clear the tunnel by yourself. I glance at Young-Soo. You guessed right. I originally wanted to observe first, and if confident, secretly try to clear the tunnel. Never thought about showing you my ability. At this, even Young-Soo realizes he got in my way. He quickly bows in apology. This leaves me flustered, so I change the subject and prepare to move forward. Watching my receding figure, Young-Soo seems to be thinking about something. After a long while, he asks where I'm heading next. I don't hide it, and honestly answer, Uijeongbu. This sparks an idea in Young-Soo, and he slowly speaks. I need to go to Indeogwan. If you're going to Gangnam, you'll pass through there. If you don't mind, could I travel with you to Indeogwan? I'm somewhat stunned after hearing this. This idea is excellent. Young-Soo's driving ability is unquestionable, but more than that, I can use this to hide my ability from everyone. If everyone knew about my ability, who knows what they'd do? Though I might be overthinking. In the worst case, my personal safety would definitely be threatened. Plus, along the way, I've seen Young-Soo's character. He's trustworthy. Alright, I'll leave the driving to you until Indeogwan. But I still need to clear the tunnel alone. Others might get in my way, and I don't want my ability exposed. After hearing this, Young-Soo doesn't hesitate and immediately agrees to help hide my ability and persuade the team. So after a while, Young-Soo passionately addresses everyone. Jongyeom will use his ability to clear the tunnel alone. We just need to wait outside. I know you're all curious about his ability, but please don't ask too much. This move really confuses me. Wasn't it supposed to be kept secret? Why did he tell everyone? I'm screwed. These are people I should be wary of, yet now he's saying things that aren't convincing. But it's come to this, so I'll go all in. Tomorrow morning I'll clear the tunnel so everyone can pass through smoothly. After hearing this, everyone starts discussing again, making me very nervous. What if they have ill intentions? Just as I'm overthinking, Jin Mok speaks up and interrupts me. Jongyeom, I won't ask about your ability or be curious about it. After all, you made this decision considering us. If not interfering is helping you, then we'll obediently wait outside tomorrow. Just please take this food. It's a token of our appreciation. Seeing this, I'm stunned. They're giving away such scarce food just like that. Besides that, they all bow to thank me. At this moment, I know I was wrong, completely wrong. They're just like me, all thinking about reuniting with their families. And I had such strange views of them because of movie plots. How shameful. To celebrate being able to escape tomorrow and reunite with family. Everyone starts a party that night. But as they drink, everyone gets drunk and starts expressing how much they miss their families. I'm also moved by this scene, or maybe because of my earlier guilt. I prepare supplies for 15 vehicles for them, so they can live stably in this apocalypse. The next day, I take a small axe and ride my heavy-duty bicycle into the tunnel. Everyone watches my receding figure with some concern, while I wear a determined expression, looking straight ahead. Just entering the tunnel, several wyverns are waiting in formation. I don't panic at all, entering the subspace and eliminating them one by one, although I'd really like to use the subspace to bring everyone out through the tunnel. But PAX indicates the current level can't carry other people. If upgraded to level 2, it can hold 20 people. And upgrading the subspace level requires 100 magic stones. And there are at most 40-something wyverns in this tunnel, not to mention those that escaped. Looks like I'll have to figure something out outside. After eliminating the remaining wyverns, I slowly ride my bicycle out. My body is covered in pools of blood. Everyone watching is extremely nervous, but this blood is all from wyverns, nothing to do with me. My safe return means the wyverns have all been eliminated. Now it's time for everyone to head home to their families. At this moment, I suddenly say, by the way, if you encounter any danger on the way back, just open the cargo hold and take a look. I prepared some small gifts. After saying this, I depart with Young-Soo toward Gangnam district. After driving for a while, monster and soldier corpses gradually start appearing on the road. This makes me sigh in relief that I was discharged early, or I'd probably have met the same fate. After driving a bit more, a barricade blocks our path. This should be set up by the military to hold back back monsters, but from the looks of it, they didn't succeed. A group of monsters appears at the end of the bridge. They look terrifying, probably speed-type monsters. Just as Young-soo prepares to turn around and find another route, an idea suddenly flashes in my mind. A perfect solution. That is to use the narrow gap of the pedestrian path to compress the monster's movement space. Then use my double-door refrigerator for suppressive fire. Basically, one large refrigerator can take out a bunch. I just need to wait in place for retrieval mode. I have to say, this reminds me of similar tower defense games, and Young-soo has long been stunned by my operation through the rearview mirror. What's going on? He's launching refrigerators, so it's not just axes. And he keeps launching the same model refrigerator. Even though it's a fulfillment center, is there really that much stock of the same item? Although he's retrieving them, the ones launched out are all brand new refrigerators. How is this even possible, if I'm not mistaken? Jonggyum, do you perhaps have infinite inventory? I'm rather curious. Yeah, didn't you know before? Young-soo already had an answer in mind, but hearing me say it directly still leaves him speechless with shock. After a long while, he recovers. Yes, you have such an overpowered ability, and I was all dramatic giving you food earlier. I smile faintly. Actually, I'm very grateful everyone was willing to trust me. If you need anything, just tell me anytime. Young-soo shakes his head, indicating he doesn't need anything for now. What he wants most now is to go home and see his family. And I point out bluntly, Young-soo, are you sure you want to see your family looking like this? Young-soo smiles helplessly after hearing this. Yeah, I guess you're right. So 5 minutes later, he emerges wearing stylish clothes. Can only say, after changing clothes, his whole vibe is different, with some very flashy maneuvers. The truck shoots forward like lightning, nearly throwing me off. 20 minutes later, we successfully arrive at our destination. The reason this area is so run down is probably because it was already old, and with monster attacks it looks even more dilapidated. But along the way, there don't seem to be any corpses around here. Possibly there are fewer monsters here. So Young-soo's family is probably fine, but there's still a chance they're not. So Young-soo's hand reaching for the door trembles, unable to open that door. And I see Young-soo's worry, so I suggest I'll ring the doorbell. Young-soo knows he doesn't have the courage, so he can only nod in agreement. Just as I'm about to ring the doorbell, the door actually opens by itself. A woman and a child walk out. From the looks of it, they should be Young-soo's wife and daughter. As soon as they see each other, they embrace and cry tears of joy. Watching the scene, I'm also very happy, but my eyelids feel a bit tired. The next second, my consciousness suddenly blurs and I collapse to the ground. No, I can't sleep here, but I really can't hold on anymore. In my dream, I seem to see past memories. Dad once told me that parting doesn't only leave sadness, but recalls all kinds of emotions from being with that person, like regret, gratitude, guilt, longing, and such. So you don't have to be sad when parting. For Dad, more than sadness, there's gratitude. Because your grandmother taught me what the essence of love is. Loving someone without expecting anything in return. It's probably hard to understand now, but when you grow up, you'll know. Whether wanting to receive love or give love, neither is simple. After growing up, I did understand, but was this way of giving love a bit wrong? Especially for my second sister, she actually used me as a punching bag. But even such a sister makes me think she's cool. That year, I tried to protect a classmate and ended up getting beaten together with him. It was my second sister who appeared in time to save me. After that, I seemed to be targeted by a devil. Every day was either training or on the way to training. But I also gained qualification for military service because of it, though I was reluctant when leaving. The dream ends here and I suddenly wake up. The unfamiliar surroundings make me very uneasy. I quickly summon a small axe from the subspace. But when I turn around, I only see a mother and daughter eating with innocent expressions. This is very awkward. I quickly put the hand axe back and ask how long I slept. The woman holds up 3 fingers. Not long, just about 3 hours. After saying this, the woman bows to thank me. This makes me flustered and I wave my hand saying she doesn't need to be so polite. Right then, Young-soo also wakes up. So the woman clears the table and prepares to let us eat. A few minutes later, a steaming bowl of braised sori appears before me. My mouth waters uncontrollably. Since being discharged, this is the first time I've seen such appetizing food. One bite and I feel my soul is elevated. This is truly a feast for the taste buds. This rich aroma unique to sari, there's even a hint of warmth. It's the taste of home. After eating, Young-soo brings up the topic. Jonggyum, you said you're going to Gangnam District, right? Let me take you there. This leaves me stunned. He just reunited with his family. Why would he continue helping me? Then we go outside to continue the discussion. Actually, I have a condition. Just drive this truck to Gangnam, and after arriving there, give me an electric bicycle to get back. I don't quite understand this statement, but why? With his driving skills, he could indeed shake off most monsters, but regardless of driving ability, it's dangerous everywhere outside now. Moreover, he now has food and supplies, and has reunited with his family. By all logic, there's no need to take more risks. Rather than rack my brain, I simply ask directly for the reason. Does this need a reason? You've helped me, and even saved me. If you hadn't helped me then, I definitely couldn't have reunited with my family. I might have died before even getting through the tunnel. So I just want to help you as much as I can. Although you've awakened a great ability, you don't stay tireless forever, right? Like how you collapsed today. So isn't it good for us to help each other? Though I can't say I'm helping you much. But don't worry too much. If things go wrong, I'll definitely run away immediately. After all, I'm not foolish enough to risk my life or abandon my family. I let out a gentle sigh. What a kind-hearted man. Young-soo, if you want to help me, I have conditions too. First, you need to take me to Weijongbu until I reunite with my family. Second, you can't come alone. After my subspace upgrade, others can enter. So if you're really coming with me, you need to bring your family. Since you're helping me rescue my family, I need to protect yours too, right? Young-soo looks down with a faint smile. Then he puts on his stylish sunglasses. Jung-gyom, let's head out right now. Time to upgrade the subspace level. Subspace successfully upgraded to level 2. Capacity expanded to 20 people. Can now store visible objects. Allow Oh-ji-soo, Lee Yu-jong, and Lee Young-soo to enter the space. I smile calmly and grant permission. With my authorization, Young-soo's family of 3 enters the subspace. The moment they enter, gasps of amazement fill the air. They knew the fulfillment center was huge, but seeing it firsthand still takes their breath away. Who would have thought such a vast space exists beyond a single door? I tell them to rest for a bit. If they need anything, they can ask Pax. We depart in 30 minutes. They don't press further and quickly thank me again. Now then, time to properly examine my abilities. The subspace ability lets me store visible objects according to my will, with free entry and exit. Without my permission, nothing can enter the subspace. Perhaps that was my original ability. After storing the fulfillment center in the subspace and combining Pax with the awakening system's operational framework, my ability evolved from simply opening and closing the subspace into multiple skills. The most notable is that insanely fast delivery skill. I thought upgrading the subspace wouldn't add new abilities, but what's this skill? Can I store things other than the Pax fulfillment center in the subspace? Not only that, there's now a laboratory that can combine, categorize, or transform registered items in the subspace. I want to test this skill, but unfortunately I don't have enough magic stones to unlock it. So for now, I can only confirm the storage skill. The first time I stored Pax in the subspace was unintentional, but if you ask me what I really want, what I most want to store in the subspace is actually Earth itself. I know this is a huge gamble, but if it succeeds, it would solve everything. After a long pause, the system's voice finally responds. Earth storage failed. Object exceeds storage capacity. Well, not entirely surprising. If I could actually store Earth, that would be ridiculously overpowered. At that moment, Young-soo gathers everyone as scheduled. We discuss the route together. I trust Young-soo's skills completely, so I leave the route planning to him, but I can't shake this ominous feeling like something bad is about to happen. This makes me unconsciously glance at Young-soo, who's wearing a mysterious smile. Don't worry. Although I can only help while driving, at least I won't lose to anyone in terms of speed. With that, he suddenly accelerates and speeds off. After a while, we arrive at a road that's the only route to the city. But there's a roadblock here, and it's a military grade one. Young-soo asks in confusion, is there a military unit nearby? My expression changes as I look at the rearview mirror. No, looks like we were wrong. The vehicles and weapons are military, but the people might not be. Just to be safe, I have Young-soo enter the subspace. I choose to stay behind and deal with them alone. Things turn out exactly as I expected. They're not military personnel, they're bandits disguised as soldiers. Without a word, they knock me out with a punch. Then they put a bag over my head and take me somewhere. When I open my eyes, I find myself in an unfamiliar office. Besides 2 bandits, there's an injured soldier lying on the floor, barely clinging to life. From their leader, I learn this is the military communications command. There are no orcs or monsters here, but there are countless wyverns that come out to hunt at regular intervals. Among these wyverns, one stands out with a body several times larger than the others. That's when a brilliant idea hits me. Perhaps using that storage opportunity here would be perfect. No sooner said than done. The next second, the entire military communications command vanishes, leaving everyone exposed outside. The outcome is obvious. What awaits them is the wyvern's judgment, and I seize the opportunity to take the soldier and hide in the subspace. Inside the subspace, Young-soo and I quickly carry the patient to a bed. From the looks of it, he's been tortured, plus severe malnutrition. That's why he's unconscious. Some nutritious food should help. Now it's time to check out the military communications command I just stored. I had no idea until I see it with my own eyes. The entire command is this massive. I was blindfolded at the time, so I had no idea it was this vast. A command this size must have tons of weapons and ammunition. But unlike the fulfillment center, using this will be complicated. At the fulfillment center, Pax automatically prepares items and delivers them outside through the delivery system. But this isn't the fulfillment center. That means I'll have to personally retrieve everything I need and remember locations. This is getting troublesome. It's even bigger than Pax. More importantly, these military supplies aren't infinitely usable like at the fulfillment center. Just as I finish saying this, Pax interrupts, explaining that he manages the entire subspace, so the command functions like a warehouse. This catches me by surprise. Does that mean ammunition and weapons can be infinitely duplicated? That's insanely powerful. Since ammunition and weapons are infinite, things just got a lot easier. All I need to do is unleash intense firepower on the wyverns outside. Then gunfire erupts, echoing across the sky. Outside looks like it's being devoured by a massive tongue of flame. After a while, all the wyverns lie defeated, but I feel an inexplicable unease. So we decide to send out a dummy to investigate. Sure enough, the moment the dummy goes out, a massive dragon claw pierces clean through it. Then it reveals its terrifying face, that larger wyvern. Realizing it's been deceived, the wyvern unleashes a roar that shakes the heavens. I tell Young-soo to open fire immediately. This monster is no ordinary threat. Instantly, another burst of fire erupts. Under such intense assault, smoke fills the area. But as the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's no damage. The wyvern is completely completely unharmed. Since firearms don't work, let's try grenades. Grenades rain down on the wyvern like a storm. I thought even with thick hide it couldn't withstand such concentrated bombardment. I was wrong. This wyvern doesn't just have thick skin. Some kind of barrier is blocking the attacks. Fortunately, the wyvern is intelligent. Seeing it can't catch us, it wisely turns and leaves. Watching it leave, I quietly breathe a sigh of relief. If this dragged on, we wouldn't be able to continue. After resting briefly, we travel light and continue our journey in a military pickup to prevent encountering such situations again. I decide to use magic stones to enhance my skills. What I see next genuinely surprises me. My magic stone count has shot up to 314. What the heck? When did I accumulate so many? Did that wyvern have a lot of magic stones? Whatever, time to upgrade abilities first. With that, I upgrade my delivery skill completely. Now I can deliver 4 items per second, and the range extends from 25 to 50 meters. After upgrading, I still have 189 left. Plenty to spare. Time to unlock the Subspace laboratory. After unlocking it, I enter the Subspace to check the instructions. Pax gives a brief introduction. This laboratory can modify anything, like doubling a magazine's capacity. After Pax's explanation, a great idea suddenly pops into my head. More powerful than bombs, but without collateral damage. Meanwhile, Young-Soo encounters a problem outside. The road is blocked again. This time it's not a barricade, but an obstacle made from piled up cars. It doesn't look easy to break through. So Young-Soo quickly calls me out to see if there's a way to solve this. Seeing this, I smile calmly. Perfect timing. The weapon I just developed will come in handy. With that, Pax launches a mysterious object. It instantly destroys all the obstacles made of piled cars. That's right, what I created is a cannon formed from countless fused 20-kilogram dumbbells. This maneuver is absolutely jaw-dropping for the guards watching. Before they can react, our vehicle drifts with precision and stops right in front of them. Hello, is Nurse Juyeon Kim here? Juyeon Kim is my oldest sister. Her dream was to become a nurse. When my other sister and I first heard she was going to study hard, we couldn't believe it. We even called our mom to see what was wrong with her. But Juyeon cheerfully said she'd found her dream. Does that make sense? A woman who could barely sit in a chair for 30 minutes suddenly acting this way? But the facts proved she wasn't just talking, she took real action. Eventually, she earned her way into nursing school fair and square. After that, I enlisted in the military and never saw her again. Reuniting after years, combined with these months of tension, I finally can't hold it together anymore. Tears fall unbidden. We embrace and shed tears of joy. After a while, we compose ourselves and I introduce Young-Soo. After introductions, she wants to find some food, but I stop her. Right now, treating a patient takes priority. The moment she hears the word patient, Juyeon gets pumped up instantly. I tell her to calm down and find a quiet place first. She understands completely and quietly leads us inside. Seeing it safe, I open the entrance to the subspace. Sure enough, Juyeon shows the same surprised expression as Young-Soo's family did. But there's no time for amazement. The priority is treating this soldier. After Juyeon's examination based on past experience, this patient would be beyond saving. However, she has successfully awakened, and her ability is the extremely rare healer class. But this patient's condition has deteriorated for too long. Even she can only provide basic treatment, but at least she can save his life. After treatment, I tell Juyeon everything that's happened these past months, but she doesn't seem to be listening. Her eyes focused only on the craving for food. Whether she's listening doesn't matter anymore. I've already found Juyeon. Next, I just need to go to Uljiro Dobong district to find my other sister. But the moment I finish speaking, she refuses my suggestion. This confuses me. Are there too many patients? Not really, she replies. There are many patients, but enough nurses. The main issue is the internal medicine director awakened a mind control ability. If I leave, no one can stand against him, and the hospital will descend into chaos. So Jeong-gyeom, go find the others first. I'll do my best to survive here. I flatly refuse her suggestion and tell her I'll handle everything. Without delay, I immediately find the dangerous person Juyeon mentioned who's controlled by the director, Song Hyun-gu, your nurse Juyeon Kim's brother, right? Let's talk outside. Seeing his massive build, I can't help but shiver, but a confrontation between us is inevitable, so I follow him out. Song Hyun-gu gives me two choices. 1. Drink this potion and be controlled by the director. 2. Refuse the potion and get beaten to death right here. Of course, I choose neither. I'll take option 3, trap you right here. At these words, Song Hyun-gu's expression changes drastically. Then he instantly charges at me, but my subspace barrier blocks him. What follows is a professional spinning bowling ball traveling at 90 kilometers per hour. To my surprise, this guy tanks the hit without a scratch. In that case, I immediately change tactics and use dumbbell plates to trap him. But this guy's strength is truly terrifying. He actually lifts thousands of pounds, but I won't give him a chance to counter. I immediately use my recall skill to retrieve everything, then release the dumbbell plates again to completely trap him. After doing all this, I return to the hospital to settle things, but Young-Soo comes stumbling over. This looks like poisoning. Juyeon instantly notices the blood spots on Young-Soo's hand. Someone did this deliberately. There's no time to worry about that now. I quickly have Young-Soo rest in the subspace. The moment Young-Soo steps into the subspace, the system alerts. Unknown energy attempting to follow target into subspace has been blocked. At the same time, Young-Soo says his head no longer hurts. This makes everything clear. So that's what the unknown energy was. This makes things easy. I immediately find Song Hyun-gu again and pull him into the subspace. Just as I expected, the moment Song Hyun-gu enters, his consciousness returns. Next, we take him to see his mother. After the visit, he heads toward the director's office. As for the result, it's obvious. The director died on the spot. All the controlled people finally finally regain consciousness. At first I'm curious how they suddenly recovered, but when I see Song Hyun-gu covered in blood, I understand everything. The moment he sees me, Song Hyun-gu bows deeply in respect. After thanking me, he suggests I stay, but I apologetically decline. After all, I haven't reunited with my family yet. Hearing this, Song Hyun-gu can only wish me well in reuniting with my family soon. The next day, I leave plenty of supplies for everyone at the hospital. I trust Song Hyun-gu will protect them all. After doing all this, we leave the hospital and continue our journey to find my family. Before leaving, Song Hyun-gu shares some intel with me. Between Uljiro and Namsan, a massive wall has appeared. The wall suddenly emerged from underground and keeps growing. It's probably taller than regular buildings now. This gives me a headache. If that's the case, passing through on the ground seems unrealistic. External force probably won't work either. Besides that, Song Hyun-gu provides another piece of intel. The most common monsters in Uljiro are skeletons, also called undead. This makes my head hurt even more. Unkillable monsters and a massive wall. Uljiro really is a dangerous place. Though my other sister is in Uljiro, I'm not worried at all. Even without awakening, she could probably crush monsters with her bare hands. Just then, a system message pops up. It seems to be from Juyeon, so I open the subspace door and ask what's going on. What else? That soldier you rescued woke up. This catches me off guard. I quickly enter the subspace to check. The soldier bows seriously and thanks. Thank you so much for saving me. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Han Ji-ho of the 50th Intelligence Communications Battalion, Military Communications Command. Can you tell me where this is? I think I saw the command here. Facing a soldier who protects the country, I don't hide anything. This is the staff lounge of the PAX Fulfillment Center. This subspace is part of my ability. Han Ji-ho looks completely confused, not understanding what I'm saying. So Juyeon briefly summarizes my explanation. This entire space is formed by his ability. Our actual location is Gangnam. I see. After this explanation, Han Ji-ho understands the general situation. Can you let me off here alone? I must hurry to headquarters to report, or something bad will happen. I understand completely. After all, I served in the military before, but I won't let you go easily. You need to finish eating this first before explaining the situation. Han Ji-ho, as a soldier, has the spirit of never revealing secrets deeply ingrained, unless he encounters someone like me who can produce tons of delicious food. One day, across the entire world, things from another world suddenly appeared. These otherworldly things weren't just monsters, but also insects, plants, animals, and even geographical features like mountains. These otherworldly lifeforms attacked everything they saw, not just humans and animals, but they also fought each other. While fighting the monsters, we began recruiting awakeners and formed them into new military units. Units formed by awakeners quickly eliminated the monsters. The base I was at, along with nearby Guaxian and Anyang, looked like they'd soon return to normal, but problems arose after that creature appeared. Bullets, grenades, artillery shells, nothing worked on that dragon. We requested support from Military Communications Command and surrounding forces several times, but Guaxian and Anyang were nearly overrun by powerful monsters just like us, and we received no response from the command. I thought it was strange. We could contact Anyang and Guaxian, who were fighting monsters, but couldn't reach Military Communications Command. Eventually, we had no choice but to order a retreat and investigate the command ourselves. But with monsters pursuing relentlessly, many comrades were killed or injured. So during our movement, we recruited awakeners to resist together. That's how we successfully reached Military Communications Command, but it was completely empty. We quickly discovered the reason. After reviewing extensive command documents, we found they were plotting a rebellion. I tried to return to the Joint Chiefs of Staff headquarters afterward, but got trapped by the dragon that pursued us. To make matters worse, the awakeners we recruited seized the opportunity to kill soldiers and occupied the command. The First Corps is likely obstructing recruitment. The Military Communications Command commander has defected, so I must return to report immediately. After hearing Han Ji-ho's account, I understand the situation. I assure him I'll definitely get him back. With that, Yong-soo and I set out quickly to see if we can arrive the same day. Along the way, we encounter many orcs, but I handle them easily. This makes Han Ji-ho realize my strength is considerable. Besides that, there's Yong-soo driving. He gets us from Gangnam to Banpo Bridge in just 1 hour. They're incredibly powerful awakeners. If only they could join our military. After another 10+ minutes, we successfully deliver Han Ji-ho to his destination. Before leaving, Han Ji-ho hopefully asks if we want to join their military. He offers generous magic stone rewards and military support. Though the rewards are generous, I still decline. After all, I just want to reunite with my family right now, and we can obtain magic stones ourselves. But the Joint Chiefs of Staff headquarters should have a helicopter or two, right? Han Ji-ho is puzzled, but the headquarters does indeed have one or two. So Han Ji-ho goes to negotiate with the commander. He not only explains the First Corps rebellion, but also our capabilities. So the negotiation becomes easier. The commander immediately proposes I join the military in exchange for borrowing a helicopter. I shake my head decisively. What if brute force can break through that wall? After refusing, I say goodbye to everyone and prepare to leave by car. This makes the commander and Han panic. That wasn't their intention. They actually need my help. So this time he lowers his tone and presents a second proposal. If you complete it successfully, we'll lend you the helicopter. commander. The mission is to clear out skeletons and rescue the besieged Awakener training base. This mission would be difficult for others, given the massive number of skeletons, plus they can revive if their cores aren't destroyed. But this seems pretty easy for me. Dumbbells weighing thousands of pounds shatter skeletons on impact, so the trapped Awakeners are rescued, and the mission is complete. But on the way back, we encounter another skeleton. Unlike other skeletons, this one has an extraordinary presence. It wears exquisite armor, looking just like a knight. Then the skeleton knight crushes a magic stone and slowly speaks. "Pleased to meet you, Otherworlder. I am Gawain, one of the 12 knights serving the Night King." The sudden voice catches me off guard. I didn't expect magic stones to have such a function, but I don't want to talk. I directly launch several fused dumbbells, but attacks of this level have no effect on Gawain. With one sword strike, he cuts them all down, then swiftly charges toward us. This maneuver genuinely shocks us. No time to hesitate. I have to use my trump card early. That's right, my trump card is the tracking skill, which can precisely hit marked positions. But dumbbells don't seem to work on Gawain. Though powerful, they're too bulky, so I decisively change the delivered items, using smaller bowling balls for tracking delivery. Just as I expected, the high-speed bowling balls are hard for Gawain to defend against. Soon he's begging for mercy. But why would I listen to a monster? I immediately launch fused dumbbells. At this point, Gawain has no power to resist and can only watch as he's shattered to pieces. In his final moments, Gawain shows a sinister smile. "Mage, you are indeed powerful, but don't think this is the end. We are immortal. Everything is for the Night King." After saying this, Gawain vanishes completely, transforming into one red magic stone and two larger blue stones. From Pax, I learned the red one is called an enhancement stone, and the blue ones are large magic stone fragments. Not sure what they do yet. I'll research them later. As for what comes next, of course it's celebrating with cheers of victory. After a while, we return to headquarters. The commander still wants us to join them, and I still say the same thing after I find my family. Seeing my resolve, the commander says no more. Instead, he takes me upstairs to fulfill his promise. Soon after, a beat-up helicopter appears before us. It looks like it should still work, right? Though it looks worn out as long as it can fly. Before I can think further, the commander stops me with his hand. He points to the side, making me instinctively turn to look. Then, I see a pristine helicopter standing there, radiating power and majesty. No wonder the commander is so proud. Even an amateur like me can't help but applaud, let alone Yong-Su the driver. He's completely immersed in joy. The commander explains, "Since we're lending you a helicopter, of course we'd pick a good one. When I said I'd treat you both as allies, I wasn't just talking." After explaining, he turns his gaze to the extremely excited Yong-Su behind me. "This friend seems so excited, so you must be the pilot. Have you flown a helicopter before?" Yong-Su has no reason to lie. "Not really, but this pop-up says I can pilot it with just 50 magic stones. I was wondering when I could upgrade. But it seems my ability doesn't need upgrading. I just need to unlock vehicle types." At these words, the commander immediately realizes we need magic stones, so he turns and walks toward the helicopter, then pulls out a pile of magic stones, about several hundred. "These 200 magic stones are a gift from all our team members to you both. We wanted to surprise you, but it seems better to give them in person. We can't refuse the goodwill of the commander and all the soldiers, so we accept them." Yong-Su says he only needs 50 of the 200, and I can do what I want with the rest. With that, he clicks to use them. But the moment Yong-Su uses them, a terrifying aura suddenly erupts from him, making my hair stand on end. The next second, with tears in my eyes, I'm forced onto this helicopter full of speed and intensity. Next, Yong-Su demonstrates what real piloting looks like. His hand speed is so fast I can't see or understand it, so I decide to examine the items I recently acquired. 2 large magic stones and 1 enhancement stone. According to Pax, 1 large magic stone equals 200 regular ones. I don't hesitate to exchange them. So now my total magic stone count is 1,393. To handle potential emergencies, I decisively click upgrade. After all, it's better to keep some cards up my sleeve. Next is the enhancement stone. Its attribute is fire, with penetration and ignition abilities. Looks pretty good. I choose to enhance the bowling balls with it, since they provided significant combat power earlier. After enhancement, Yong-Su's preparations are also complete. After saying goodbye to the commander, we continue our journey to find my family. Coincidentally, the system finishes upgrading and gains several new features. One of them is a registration system similar to Yong-Su's ability. I can record items by spending magic stones. Unlike Yong-Su, once I successfully register something in the subspace, I can infinitely duplicate it. So I use the subspace to duplicate a Black Hawk helicopter and give it to the commander. After doing all this, we leave in style, leaving the utterly bewildered commander behind. Not long after, we fly the Black Hawk to inside that wall. Upon entering, we see a skeleton knight fighting someone. The person fighting it is terrifyingly strong, knocking the skeleton knight back with just one punch. This makes Yong-Su gasp in amazement, while I'm not surprised at all, because this person is my other sister, that combat fanatic. My other sister, Kim Yul First, has loved watching TV since she was little. Once, she happened to see a mixed martial arts match on TV. After that, she became obsessed with fighting, and quite coincidentally, she had a little brother who liked to play with her. So my days after that were predictable. Though Kim Yul won, she wasn't happy because victory over weaker opponents wasn't what she wanted. So to find stronger opponents, Kim Yul went to playgrounds and defeated countless kids several years older than her. Our father discovered discovered her talent and sent her to learn mixed martial arts. There, Kim Yulai tasted defeat for the first time. I thought she'd learn there are always stronger people out there, but with her intense competitive spirit and natural physique, she trained day and night. Eventually, she mastered various martial arts and won awards. During her school years, she reached a level where no one in her class could match her. She was truly unbeatable, but her body soon couldn't handle the intense training, ultimately leading to complete tears of both knee ligaments. I thought she'd stop and recover properly, but this girl complained the leg recovery took too long and started exercising again, so old injuries never healed before new ones appeared. That's why her official fighting debut was delayed by several years. Otherwise, with her skills, she would have reached the top long ago. Meanwhile, the battle between the two continues, but this time, the Skeleton Knight isn't in a rush to attack. Instead, he offers some praise to Yul. But before he can finish speaking, a flaming bowling ball precisely strikes his head. His body disintegrates from the impact. This move completely stuns the second sister. She thinks to herself, an opponent even she couldn't easily defeat was shattered by a single bowling ball. But before she can think more about it, we pilot the helicopter and slowly descend to the ground. She thinks it's military personnel, but when she sees clearly that it's me, she drops her guard and looks surprised. I don't say much and directly bring her into the subspace to reunite with Juyeon. From Yulai, I learn quite a few clues. First, Yulai's awakened ability is a barrier-generating shield. When the shield is active, it can enhance her body. Second, the ceiling of this wall seems about to close. If it closes successfully, no one knows what will happen. And there's only one way to stop this from happening: kill the Night King. Having obtained crucial intel, Young-soo immediately takes off with me at high speed. But before we even find the Night King's exact location, I nearly lose half my life. Not from an attack, but from the flying speed itself. But now that we've found the enemy's lair, I can't worry about that anymore. I resolutely open the door. As soon as the door opens, a bat comes flying at us. Yulai sends it away with one punch. But this isn't over. We just repelled one, and unexpectedly, its entire family, relatives, and friends all show up. The scene is quite terrifying. However, this ignites Yulai's fighting spirit. She suddenly accelerates and charges into the bat swarm. Basically, it's one punch, one small fry. This leaves me unsure how to attack. If I accidentally hurt Yulai, it wouldn't be worth it. At this moment, I suddenly remember I have a subspace laboratory. Right, if I don't have a handy weapon, I can just make one on the spot. And so, the extra-large electric mosquito and bug killer is born. Rarity, rare. Attribute, electric. Additional abilities, penetration, electrocution, taunt. The effect is incredibly good. It basically steals all the monsters from Yulai's side. This triggers Yulai's strong dissatisfaction. She walks toward me furiously. Meanwhile, a red skull hiding in the shadows quietly leaves. It reports everything it just witnessed to the Night King. This gives the Night King quite a headache. He decides to summon the Purple Skull. The Purple Skull is somewhat worried. If the Master summons during the period on Earth, the Upper Council definitely won't let it go easily once they find out. The Night King is also helpless, but there's no choice. The mage is at least tier 8, and even a same-tier mage is stronger than me. Moreover, there's also someone whose strength rivals a knight. Hearing this, the Purple Skull can only silently accept this view. So next, the Night King begins the summoning. Come forth, my strongest sword who serves me, Lancelot. Meanwhile, on the other side, to suppress Yulai's anger, I specially craft a weapon for her. Although not as strong as the electric mosquito and bug killer, this one is by no means weak either. Now that the weapon is ready, we gear up and continue forward. Soon we arrive at the Night King's chamber. Here, not only is there the Night King as the boss, but also the newly summoned skeleton knight Lancelot. The Night King immediately starts rambling on about something like arcane causing trouble. Anyway, we don't understand a word. Yulai can't be bothered to listen. She picks up her baseball bat and prepares to charge forward for battle. But unexpectedly, the next second, Lancelot attacks with his sword almost instantaneously. Fortunately, Yulai's reflexes are not weak. She blocks the attack. If it were me, I'd probably be dead already. But Yulai didn't completely block it. Lancelot's attack actually cuts through the electric mosquito and bug killer. This is a rare grade piece of equipment after all. Yulai's expression changes drastically. It's not that the weapon is too weak, it's that this guy is terrifyingly strong. I find this hard to believe, so I immediately throw out 3 flaming bowling balls. Almost instantly, those 3 high-speed flying bowling balls are cut in half. This shocks me greatly. You have to know that until now, not a single person has been able to dodge or even smash these high-speed flying bowling balls. I'm about to warn Yulai to be careful, but unexpectedly she charges straight ahead. Then she lands a precise punch on Lancelot's head. After hitting, she smoothly crouches down, anticipating Lancelot's powerful counterattack. Then comes a rapid series of punches, hammering Lancelot's head. Every move is lethal. I also seize the opportunity and land a bowling ball precisely. But this guy is completely unharmed, still maintaining that imposing demeanor. Seeing this, my instincts tell me this guy is extremely dangerous. More dangerous than any monster outside. So I quickly use the product recall skill to rapidly pull Yulai and myself back into the subspace. Yulai is still confused about what I'm doing. But the next second, Lancelot follows with an attack. His sword is only 0.01 meters from my eyes. Good thing I'm in the subspace. Otherwise, I'd be dead for sure. At such close range, I command Pax again to use the delivery skill, aiming at his head. But this guy is truly too terrifying. Even at close range, I still can't hit him. At this moment, the Night King, who has been observing for a while, finally understands. I'm actually not a mage at all, but a human with awakened abilities. Hey, you're not a mage, but a human, right? And one who has awakened the ability to replicate items. I'm not wrong, am I? Ha ha ha, I see. Human, do you know what kind of ability you've obtained? We should be working together. This 180-degree attitude change really catches me off guard. You must still be confused right now. Let me explain first. After you defeated those skeleton knights on your way here, you should have obtained enhancement stones. These are created by the city. To be precise, this city is an item called Camelot. Camelot can create enhancement stones by using living beings as the cost. Enhancement stones can typically enhance items, thereby improving abilities. For example, when used on Camelot, it can summon and command the tier 7 Knight Lancelot before me, as well as the 12 knights belonging to Camelot. This intel catches my attention. In other words, the walls outside are actually this item called Camelot. Then that makes things easy. I finally found a way to solve everything. Night King, thank you for providing that business intelligence. Pax, store Camelot into the subspace. The Night King is confused. What did you say? Who is Pax? As soon as the words fall, the entire Camelot instantly disappears, leaving only a dumbfounded Night King. Inside the subspace, I'm playing with a very small object. That's right. This object is the item called Camelot, which is also the walls outside, or rather the symbol of all skeleton knights' master. You're called Lancelot, right? Can you help me take down the Night King? Upon receiving my command, Lancelot doesn't hesitate for a moment. He instantly kills him with one sword strike. The Night King falls to the ground and drops a yellow magic stone. Lancelot successfully kills the Night King. As Lancelot's master, Zheng Guillaume will obtain ownership of the Night King's dimensional account. Current account, total balance, 3086. This news really surprises both of us. Is this what they call killing for treasure? It really is like free fortune falling from the sky. It'd be foolish not to take it. Before I can celebrate for long, Yule, I says with a dark expression, if you have any conscience, you should give me 1,000 magic stones. I'm the benefactor who saved your life. I'm truly grateful, but asking for 1,000 magic stones is too outrageous. Let's both compromise. 500 at most. You still need to stay in the subspace, you know. Faced with my despicable behavior, Yule, I can only bow and flatter me. After all, she still wants to continue eating fancy meals. Next is figuring out how to handle this skeleton knight Lancelot. The best method is not to handle it, because he is now submitted to me. In other words, there's no danger at all. I thought everyone would be concerned, but looking at this situation, I was overthinking. After playing for a while, Youngsu's daughter seems tired. She lies on Youngsu's back and falls asleep. Then it's also time to prepare a resting place for Lancelot. After saying this, I take out the item called Camelot. Its grade is unique. It has 3 abilities in total, roughly matching the intel the Night King provided. First, it drains life force from inside to produce enhancement stones. Second, it can summon Camelot's undead. Third is a bit special. It can actually appoint other undead as knights. There's also its exclusive description. It can freely adjust its size, but requires payment of corresponding fees. This stumps me. It doesn't clearly state what size corresponds to what magic stone amount. Then let's tentatively invest 300 magic stones first. As soon as I click confirm, a massive Camelot palace appears before my eyes. This size should be about enough. After finishing this, I prepare to let everyone go rest. But looking at this human and skeleton's posture, they probably won't be sleeping. Both sides seem interested in each other's techniques. That's also good for mutually enhancing their strength. Anyway, I need to sleep. Early the next morning, a helicopter lands straight in front of us. The director steps out with an indescribable smile on his face. Director, you're not here again to persuade me to join you, are you? The director quickly shakes his head. I'm here to relay important news. You absolutely cannot move by helicopter. After the rebellious First Corps occupied the air defense base, they're shooting down all aircraft passing through the airspace. We tried sneaking in before, but the defenses there are too tight. Our forces are in a difficult position, but I remembered you mentioned going to Uijeongbu before, so I came to ask for your help. This news is worse than I expected. If it were just going to Uijeongbu, we could take a detour through Namyang, but I have to pass through Dobong district because my older brother and sister-in-law are still there. Now, the First Corps' influence has expanded to Dobong district, so conflict is ultimately unavoidable. What I fear now is that my family members have already met with misfortune, so we can't delay any longer. After thinking, I summon Lancelot and state that he will assist us. A few days later, I command Lancelot to transform into undead form and secretly infiltrate Dobong district to scout the enemy. Knights in undead form cannot physically interfere, but at the same time, they aren't affected by physical interference. In other words, undead form is the best method for reconnaissance of enemy camps. Therefore, we decide to have Lancelot first grasp the enemy's troop scale and anti-aircraft artillery positions before formulating a battle plan against the enemy. This reconnaissance takes a total of 2.5 hours and brings back quite a bit of surprising news. First, the First Corps soldiers have almost all turned into goblin bodies. Second, they're treating people as sacrifices, keeping them in cages. As for why they need sacrifices, it should be because they want to obtain repulsive force. In other words, the concept of tier. The smaller the tier number, the stronger the power possessed. For example, tier 9 attacks cannot harm tier 8. It's just that using sacrifices to obtain tiers is a method used instinctively by low-intelligence life forms. This method often involves contact with high-tier beings and making a deal with them. I see. Then it seems the these scum are no longer human, then let's start formulating a plan. That being said, although we already know the enemy's anti-aircraft artillery positions, these positions are too far apart. Once we attack, the enemy will definitely notice. Lancelot sees my concern and suggests summoning other knights. Hearing this, I think it makes sense, so I ask if he has anyone to recommend. Lancelot doesn't hesitate and almost blurts out, I suggest summoning Bedivere. He's a once-in-a-generation genius at ranged attacks. It's just that Bedivere has only one arm. This makes me curious. How does someone with one arm shoot arrows? So Lancelot tells Bedivere's story. Once, Bedivere was a genius in the Duke's direct knight order, but had one arm cut off by a commander who was jealous of his talent. However, he didn't give up. Instead, he found another method to replace archery, stone throwing. Through day and night training, he eventually became one of the 12 Knights of Camelot. Don't let the single arm fool you. His strength ranks among the top in our order. That being said, I'm still a bit skeptical at first, until the next day when I witness his combat with my own eyes. Truly terrifying destructive power and accuracy, and the throwing speed is incredibly fast. Before long, Bedivere sends the signal that all anti-aircraft artillery has been destroyed. This is truly terrifying. No wonder Lancelot is so confident in his knight order. They certainly have the credentials to be arrogant. But I can't think too much now. It's time for us to counterattack. On the other side, Lancelot successfully finds the enemy commander and uses torture to interrogate him. But this commander seems quite thick-skinned. Even after severe torture, he still has the strength to jump out the window and escape. But so what? We've been waiting outside for a while already. Seeing the situation is bad, the commander decisively kills his own comrade and devours all his magic stones and flesh, using this to evolve himself to tier 8 to have fighting capability. However, this kind of trash doesn't even need Lancelot, who's tier 7, to act. Bedivere, who's tier 8, can easily eliminate him instantly. Obtained 322 magic stones. Current total magic stones, 3,542. After everything is resolved, the director arrives with soldiers for support. Then he sees the brigade commander who turned into a goblin on the ground. I take the opportunity to ask Lancelot if he got any information from the interrogation. I apologize. I only found out that the high-tier being they contacted is called Tonatiuh. At this moment, the director reminds us that there might be clues in the office, so I have Pax help sort through them. After some time, Pax sorts out 5,086 documents. Decoding requires 120 magic stones. This isn't too bad. I grit my teeth and pay it. After another period, Pax indicates that among these documents, there are 2 that cannot be saved. This surprises me somewhat. There are actually things that cannot be categorized, so I just have Pax bring them over. It's a document called Dimensional Entity Registration Form. Lancelot explains that this is material that can raise one's tier. The one with clear writing is the official form, while the sloppily copied one used a shortcut method. To successfully register officially, you need magic stones and a dimensional account as written on the form. And Master, you happen to meet the conditions. Do you want to apply for one? I do want to apply for one, but this thing actually costs 1,000 magic stones. It's simply such a bargain. 1,000 magic stones to reach tier 8. As soon as I finish signing my name, the official form mysteriously disappears. Is that it? I don't really feel any change. Meanwhile, outside, a patrolling goblin is riding a wild motorcycle back to camp. What greets him are corpses, and this happens to be spotted by Bedivere, who's keeping watch. On the other side, we learn from the documents that Dobong district has been occupied by rebel forces, so we can't delay any longer. We must set out immediately. But now a problem arises. That is, our vehicles are only military vehicles. We can't hide our identity at all. It seems we can only ride electric bicycles first and look for other vehicles along the way. Just as I'm thinking this, Bedivere actually rides up on a wild motorcycle and appears before me. Talk about incredible luck that can't be stopped. Just in case, I spend 22 magic stones to classify it into the military category. Then without further delay, we immediately start tearing through the streets on motorcycles. Whenever we encounter goblins, Bedivere throws bowling balls to attack. If there are any that slip through, Lancelot handles them. Just like this, we overcome all obstacles along the way and finally successfully arrive at my brother and sister-in-law's residence. But I knock on the door again and again, and there's no response. With an uneasy feeling, I heavily open the door. Inside has long been destroyed and is messy, but there don't seem to be signs of the struggle I imagined. At this moment, I discover a note nearby that's already covered in dust. It clearly states that my brother and sister-in-law have already headed to Uijeongbu to reunite with our parents and in-laws. Seeing this information, my suppressed feelings finally relax. But I can't let my guard down yet. After all, I haven't seen them in person. Just as we're chatting, a combat helicopter aims its gun at us and attacks us at a rate of 5 bullets per second. But this time I don't dodge. Rather, I don't need to dodge, because I'm now tier 8. This kind of attack has no effect on me at all. On the contrary, this helicopter looks pretty nice, so I gladly accept it by spending 141 magic stones. Then we immediately set off on motorcycles at high speed and finally arrive at our destination before sunset. But a group of blind goblins are actually preparing to attack my home. This makes me furious. Daring to touch my home, they have a death wish. The 2 knights immediately attack. Against these tier 9 trash, it's basically instant kills, so the battle ends quickly. Before my eyes appears the house we've lived in since childhood. After dealing with the enemies, I prepare to knock on the door with a heavy heart, just hoping it won't be like my brother and sister-in-law's place. Before we can get closer, the door is opened by an aged but strong hand. It's the family members I've been wanting to see. After months apart, seeing my family again, the emotions I've been holding inside finally burst out. To prevent unnecessary panic, I first introduce Lancelot and the others. Then I open the portal to let Juan and Yule reunite with the family as well. Like me, when they see Dad and the others, they all cry tears of joy. Finally, we bring them all into the subspace. From them, I learned that Dad awakened the architect ability and my sister-in-law has the alchemy ability. This should be wonderful news, but Mom actually freezes after tasting the food. This braised sorry is actually more delicious than his cooking. Could he be a top chef? But Mom doesn't back down. Since you made us delicious meals, let me be responsible for the refreshing dessert. And so, before long, Mom's green grape cream tiramisu is born. Just one bite conquers everyone present, except Grandpa. But Grandpa is interested in chess. He pulls Lancelot aside to play chess. Lancelot wants to refuse, but can't, since all my family members have been found. Then it's time to let loose and eliminate that first core that betrayed humanity. A few days later, on the combat front line, enemy fire rains down on me like raindrops, but it has no effect on me. On the contrary, I return fire with several Hellfire missiles I developed myself. According to intel Lancelot gathered, the first core is holding citizens in other locations, not at headquarters. In other words, I can use high destructive weapons to attack headquarters without worry. Missiles are already powerful, not to mention these have been enhanced by me. At this rate, I can easily and quickly accumulate the 10,000 magic stones needed to upgrade the subspace. But when I check the magic stone balance, I'm truly confused. After fighting this long, at least 3,000 to 4,000 should have been deposited. How is it only this much? Pax explains, ding. According to platform regulations, 45% of earnings are paid as fees to Tonatiuh of the Mexica dimension. 25% is paid to High Priest Kim Bong-ju. This name sounds familiar. Isn't this the Tonatiuh that Lancelot mentioned? Just at this moment, Lancelot happens to return, so I inform him of the information I just saw. Lancelot explains, Mexica in the Mexica dimension should be the planet where Tonatiuh was born, or possibly a civilization, and that Kim Bong-ju can be said to be a traitor. After some time, Kim Bong-ju looks at the scene of smoke rising everywhere below and can't help but feel puzzled. Could this be an enemy attack? But I don't see any fighters or armored vehicles. Before he can think more about it, a projectile precisely hits Kim Bong-ju, blasting right through him. That's right, this is my flaming bowling ball. I thought the battle was over, but unexpectedly this guy is still alive, and his body is recovering at a visibly rapid rate. Before long he grows into this muscular goblin form. It looks quite horrifying, and an eyeball emerges from the sky, gazing at everyone. This eyeball is so profound it makes my hair stand on end. My heart won't stop pounding wildly. Is this what a high-tier being is like? Lancelot doesn't intend to waste words at all. With one sword strike he cuts off Kim Bong-ju's head, but it's completely useless. As long as that eyeball above exists, he can regenerate infinitely. Facing this bug-like character, Lancelot has methods. Since we can't kill him, then we'll beat him until he breaks down. This suggestion is quite good, but I feel that letting that eyeball keep staring will definitely lead to something bad happening. Isn't there any method to isolate that eyeball's energy supply? Suddenly I think of Song Hyun-gu. That's right, I have the subspace. Lancelot, throw that guy in here. Lancelot doesn't hesitate and flings him into the subspace. The moment he enters, the energy supply by Tonatiuh is cut off. Kim Bong-ju returns to his original appearance. He happens to startle Juon, who's strolling around. Fortunately, Yulai is nearby to protect her. When Yulai sees me, she looks like she wants to kill me. She's probably blaming me for not letting her out to fight monsters. This scares me into quickly closing the subspace, afraid she'll come out the next second and tear me apart. Only poor Kim Bong-ju is used by Yulai as a punching bag and literally beaten to death. Ding. Obtained ownership of Kim Bong-ju's account. Magic stone count will be automatically calculated. Current total magic stones 14,823. This number really surprises me greatly. This guy Kim Bong-ju really embezzled quite a lot. But why wasn't 45% taken by Tonatiuh? Could it be I subconsciously look up? Sure enough, he's disappeared, without a trace. It seems Kim Bong-ju was just his vessel for descending, and when I just dragged him into the subspace, their connection was severed. What a stroke of genius. Good thing Tonatiuh has retreated. Just being stared at by him made my heart hurt terribly. At this moment, the director finally arrives with soldiers. Such familiar people, such a familiar scene, just a different location. But this time the timing is perfect, just in time to stay and clean up the aftermath. The moment he sees the rebel leader's corpse, the director decisively bows in gratitude. This actually surprises me. Thank you so much. Though I'm only saying it now, from beginning to end, it's been you helping us overcome difficulties. We've been so incompetent. But can you help everyone once more? Many people are still in dire straits. Some have lost loved ones, some are severely injured. I understand this is caused by our military's incompetence. That's why I want to seek your help. Before he can finish, I interrupt him by extending my hand. This isn't a transaction, but my unilateral assistance. Let me make it clear up front. I don't plan to join the military, so whether I help or not depends entirely on my judgment and mood. With these words, the director seems to see hope again. Hope for humanity to return to normal life. To solidify this relationship, the director actually publicly grants me the rank of honorary colonel. This move really makes me blush with embarrassment, especially the title Colonel Kim. Since matters are resolved, it's time to head back. But before that, just in case, I first upgrade the system. Just a small 10,000 magic stones. On the other side, Bedivere seems to have found something in Kim Bong-ju's office. Looking closely, it's clearly 3-dimensional entity registration forms. So Bedivere hurries to find me and presents these 3 application forms to me. This somewhat astonishes me. However, if I have this, it seems I can solve a problem. That's right. That problem is Yulai, who I locked in the subspace. Seeing her expression, I know I'm done for. So I hastily pull out the application form and explain, I only prohibited you from going out because I feared for your safety. But with this, you can fight safely. Actually, I also hope you can coolly defeat monsters. Really, you don't think I locked you up just to mess with you, do you? After hearing this, Yulai thinks for a moment. Applying for this seems to require a dimensional account, right? Damn, this reminds me that she doesn't have a dimensional account yet. In other words, she knows I'm lying to her. Before I can think more, a fist precisely hits my cheek. This powerful impact makes me spin 3,600 degrees in the air before landing. Fortunately, I'm now tier 8. Lower tier attacks can't cause me much damage, but it still hurts a bit. At this moment, the system notifies that the Subspace upgrade is complete. Many new features have been unlocked. Among them, the Subspace healing effect enhancement catches my attention, because this effect seems to make Lancelot and the others feel itchy all over and burning with pain. This is the first time I've seen such a situation. However, Juyon, who studied medicine, immediately notices something. This seems to be symptoms of scabbing. I see. Lancelot and the others are undead beings. Receiving healing is equivalent to evolving them, so they must stay inside Camelot, which can drain life force, to obtain enhancement stones. Without further ado, we immediately enter Camelot. As soon as we enter, 2 enhancement stones drop down. It seems this is the power of draining life force to obtain enhancement stones. Who would have thought that the Subspace's life support system and Camelot, which drains life force, these two items with opposite properties, could actually create such an exquisite harmony as infinite power? Although I can now generate unlimited enhancement stones and the scale of my abilities is gradually increasing, this cheat-like ability is not only continuously strengthening, but also becoming more efficient to utilize. But I still feel unable to defeat that being. I must become stronger, strong enough to make all invaders retreat in terror. The next day, a pop-up appears before everyone's eyes. It clearly states, the Upper Council has assessed Earth Dimension's potential as B grade. 7 days from now, formal bidding will commence for the entire Earth. Participating dimensions and Earth Dimension residents must select representatives by region to compete. If other dimensions win, portals will be established in designated winning regions for future colonization. If Earth Dimension residents win, additional rewards will be granted. We look forward to Earth Dimension's enthusiastic participation. With respect, the multi-dimensional Upper Council. Simply put, doesn't this just mean they want to invade our Earth? And this multi-dimensional Upper Council seems to be taking all of this lightly, whether it's colonization or bidding. Just as I'm thinking this, another pop-up window appears, inviting me to become City A's representative. After a brief moment of consideration, I ultimately decide to take on this great responsibility and become City A's representative. However, participating in the bidding requires 100 people, so I seek help from the commander. The commander is more than happy to assist when he hears my request. He was originally reluctant to let others serve as the representative, but if it's me, that's a different story. The commander then pulls out a small notebook, asking me to write down the abilities I want in my team members. I tell him it's unnecessary, just elite marksmen will do. After all, we're fighting a defensive battle, and our opponent in this bidding battle is the Ames Dimension. They appear to be a holy knight order armed with gleaming armor and weapons. Among them are quite a few tier 8 warriors. As for the bidding method, simply put, the Ames Dimension will bring a portal core to Earth. Our objective is to destroy the portal core, which will hatch after 12 hours. Once it successfully hatches, the Ames Dimension wins and gains pioneering rights to this territory. Our side consists mostly of tier 9 warriors, so I predict they'll definitely swarm us with attacks, leaving only a small force to defend. That makes things easier. With Lancelot, Kim Yule first, and me on the attack, there shouldn't be a problem. But what concerns me is the defense. The commander is somewhat worried, because while ordinary firearms work fine against tier 9, dealing with tier 8 is a different matter. I smile calmly. Of course I've thought of this. So last night, I upgraded my abilities. First is the simultaneous delivery skill. I can now deliver 8 items at once. Second is the Subspace laboratory. Finally, I can conduct simulation tests. Simply put, before producing the actual result, I can confirm the performance and appearance of the finished product through simulation. But what kind of weapon should I create with this skill? And it needs to be something that even non-awakeners can easily use and take down tier 8 enemies with. After careful consideration, I finally decide to enhance firearms and ammunition. And so, a week of preparation time begins. The elite marksman undergoes special training. My father rapidly constructs strongholds using his architect ability. Kim Yulai leads the attack team in hunting monsters, using the acquired magic stones to enhance their abilities. In the end, Kim Yulai gains a protective barrier that can operate at a distance from her body, and my eldest sister gains the ability to use area of effect healing. Both very useful skills. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, the bidding day arrives. The Ames Dimension seems to be building something. 2 somethings, in fact. I figure they're probably meant to guard the portal core, but the bidding is about to start. Will they really have time to build those things? Before I can think much more, the Ames Dimension warriors suddenly appear before us. Then with a grand wave, they issue the attack command. This scenario is almost exactly as I predicted. Then let them face our wrath. Immediately, bullets rain down like a downpour upon these knights. The knights had assumed tier 9 attacks couldn't harm them, but reality delivers them a harsh blow. Seeing everything proceeding according to plan, our attack team immediately sets out. Before long, we finally reach the enemy's headquarters. Standing here is an imposing statue. The craftsmanship is quite good, and they built it quickly too. I just don't know how strong its defense is, so I launched 3 Hellfire missiles to test it out. What completely surprises me is that the statue withstands this attack without even a single crack. This is quite an excellent defensive tool. I originally want to store it in the subspace, but an old man on the other side keeps chattering away, which really annoys me. But then I turn and see the steel I-beams nearby. A wicked idea forms in my mind. Pax, store those I-beams in the subspace. As soon as the words leave my mouth, that pile of construction steel instantly vanishes. When it reappears, it crashes down hard onto that statue, and those Ames Dimension people, along with the statue, are all crushed into pulp. Congratulations on winning the bidding battle. All 100 victorious participants will receive dimensional accounts. The 5,000 magic stones as victory bonus will be distributed according to contribution. The Lytle Dimension management rights held by the Ames Dimension will be transferred to City A's representative. Since there are so many magic stones, without hesitation, I immediately register Young Soo, my eldest sister, Kim Yularth, and my father as Tier 8. Besides that, a management rights document floats down into my hands, and a red portal appears before my eyes. But it seems I'm not allowed to enter, even though they gave me the management rights. Just as I'm puzzled, a pop-up window appears, clearly stating that the multi-dimensional upper council wants to purchase the management rights for 10,000 magic stones. This makes me curse under my breath. They clearly gave it to me as a reward, yet they pull this trick, really pushing their luck. Even if I throw it away, there's no way I'll let them take advantage of me. Time quickly arrives at evening, with bright moonlight illuminating the building shrouded in darkness. The bidding results are out, and they can only be described as disastrous, basically total annihilation, with only a few regions achieving victory. Of Country A's 5 bidding battles, only Incheon failed, so we propose concentrating our forces and heading to Incheon together, and Incheon's command center very promptly sends a distress call along with intelligence. The enemy is the Lizardmen from the Sabros Dimension. Currently, they've opened a portal on Tang Street. They possess excellent mobility and can fight simultaneously on the ground and in the air. Combat has currently ceased, but the enemy continues sending troops through the portal. A large-scale force is expected to be stationed here. It seems their target is City A. I see. It looks like they're planning further invasion. At this moment, the system pops up another window. From this moment on, victorious Earth Dimension regional representatives will be marked above their heads. That's what it says, but there doesn't seem to be any marker above my head. Could it be that I'm not City A's regional representative? That's impossible. I just participated in the bidding today. Ding! The pop-up window appears again. Other dimensions that won in the bidding battles can generate portals in a region by killing Earth Dimension's regional representatives. As this message appears, the surroundings suddenly fall silent. After a long while, the commander realizes this is basically a territory capture game. Kill the leader to claim victory. Hearing the commander say this, Lancelot seems to know why there's no marker above my head, so he hastily leans his entire body out the window. The next second, he sees the 4 large character city, a representative prominently displayed above the entire building. So it's not that it wasn't displayed, it was displayed up high, which is why we couldn't see it from inside. This is somewhat troubling. With letters this large, the lizard men will definitely notice, and it seems they've already started preparing their forces. This feeling, it's as if the enemy knew the rules in advance. Lancelot gives an affirmative response. It looks like we need to prepare quickly too, or City A will soon fall as well. However, although the marker above my head exposes my location, this is also an opportunity, a chance to lure them in. We just need to find a location that's easy to defend and hard to attack. Yes, finding such a location is the real problem. Actually, it's quite simple. Just find terrain that minimizes our losses while maximizing damage to the enemy. Guyang Bridge might be an excellent choice. There's a bridge there that restricts movement. The surrounding area is an ecological park with no residential buildings. I can unleash firepower freely. I just need to have my father use Ames Dimension construction materials to build an elevated platform there for the soldiers to shoot from. We'll definitely have a chance of winning. Moreover, while building structures, I discover there are Ames Holy Lances stored in the Ames Materials warehouse. They should work great as roadblocks. Or alternatively, I could have Bedivere throw them from a distance. Time quickly arrives at the next day. Everyone stands ready in strict formation. Roadblocks and other defenses to prevent enemy approach are in place. Total work time up to now 4 hours. This is thanks to my father's architect ability and Pax's various functions. Things went more smoothly than expected. Just as everyone is thinking this, we actually overlooked 2 points. Reptiles are apparently all excellent swimmers. Diving underwater actually causes Bedivere to lose visual contact. Second, the vegetation here is more abundant than expected, perfectly concealing their forms. But by the time we discover this, it's too late. The enemy is already only a mile away from us. Seeing this situation, I hastily begin delivering Ames Dimension construction materials. But the enemy actually has terrifyingly powerful Tier 7 warriors, and not just one. At this rate, we'll eventually be worn down, so I have Lancelot engage one of them, while I use my delivery skill to deal with the other. Lancelot doesn't hesitate. With one slashing strike, he goes straight for the enemy's head, but the lizardman blocks it. Knight, you are brave to enter our formation alone. State your name. Lancelot. Just 4 syllables rifles fully displaying his knightly bearing. Very well, I am Laquise. Since ancient times, warriors instinctively wish to test themselves against the strong. Warrior, will you stake your life in a duel with me? Lancelot pauses for a moment, then speaks. I accept your challenge, but do you intend to fight me while sitting on that lizard's back? That's right. Do you find it unfair? Warrior, a duel where lives are at stake is to determine who is stronger. Before he can finish, Lancelot interrupts. Enough. In short, you want to use this to compensate for your insufficient strength. That's right. After all, with lives on the line, even if you defeat me, I won't complain. So come at me. Hearing this, Laquise erupts in fury. Then he resolutely dismounts from his lizard, preparing to battle Lancelot for 300 rounds. Meanwhile, the soldiers are firing their enhanced rifles without a moment's rest. But these guys are harder to deal with than expected. They quickly break through the first layer of defense. Fortunately, with Kim Yuli-Sime's timely support, we barely hold the line. But Kim Yuli seems to have forgotten that her task is to help Bedivere hunt the airborne monsters. This leaves Bedivere somewhat at a loss. Meanwhile, I've just managed to suppress the tier 7 in front of me using I-beams. Lucky for me, he's not too bright and only knows how to defend. Looking at Lancelot's situation, things don't seem too good. In just a few exchanges, he's being suppressed. I should say it's not suppression, it's domination. This guy's spear technique seems very strong. However, just as Laquise is about to cut off Lancelot's head, the spear in his hand suddenly stops, and it's pulled away by a powerful force. I'm a bit confused. I was recalling Aim's construction materials. How did the spear get recalled too? Although, I don't know why you're wielding an Aim's dimension weapon, or should I say construction material, thank you. I'll put it to good use. This move makes Laquise's face turn pale with rage. To defile a warrior's duel like this, you were just accusing me, but in the end, you're the most despicable one. Lancelot looks innocent. Your weapon was taken. It seems you're afraid, but don't worry. Whether your throat is slit or you're beaten to death, it's just a different method. Either way, you won't escape death. With that, Lancelot assumes an attack stance. On my side, I use the spear I seized, not borrowed from Laquise, and in an instant, I pierce through the tier 7 lizardman before me. The poor lizardman doesn't even have time to react before being instantly killed. Congratulations on obtaining ownership of the dimensional account. Previous account holder Yado. Balance 1667. Enhancement stone acquired. Attribute none. Trait ghost step. The effect is quite excellent. The scene shifts back to Lancelot. Using techniques he learned from Kim Yule I, Lancelot easily suppresses Laquise. Laquise is beaten without any ability to fight back. He can only possess his mount for a desperate final struggle. But unfortunately for him, he's facing Lancelot. One punch sends him flying dozens of meters away. He lies on the ground, motionless. Out of caution, Lancelot delivers finishing strikes to Laquise. Yes, that's the better term. With this, the great battle completely ends. Under my leadership, we successfully defend City A. This was a hard-fought battle. The lizardmen are strong. Our strategy didn't work at all. More importantly, their portal remains open. As long as the portal stays open, these guys will likely attack again. So this time, it's our turn to launch the offensive. So to gather intelligence on the lizardmen, Yongsu and I fly a helicopter to Inchi. As soon as we exit the helicopter, everyone immediately salutes us. It feels somewhat awkward, even though I've been addressed this way countless times. The man slowly speaks. I am Lieutenant Colonel Park in Bo, Operations Staff of Incheon's 17th Division. Thank you very much for coming to support us. I don't say much, and just have him lead the way to headquarters. After all, the lizardmen won't just wait around obediently. A few minutes later, in the operations conference room, Park in Bo explains the location of the enemy's headquarters. I did find it, but for some reason, the area is covered with a layer of clay. Contact with that mud doesn't cause any problems for the skin. The problem is we have great difficulty walking on it. In contrast, the lizardmen can use this terrain to hide themselves. I see. That's easy then. I have someone who can move freely. With that, I summon Lancelot, but Lancelot indicates it won't work. After all, the undead form can only move but cannot become invisible. It's easy to be discovered. Instead, Lancelot has a candidate who excels at reconnaissance. It's Mordred, one of Camelot's 12 knights. Mordred is different from the other knights. He rarely operates on the battlefield. Where he excels is deep within enemy camps, using covert and swift techniques like infiltration, assassination, and theft to become one of Camelot's 12 knights. He can operate as an excellent assassin in the shadows, not only because of his superior strength and clever mind, but more importantly because he possesses a special talent, invisibility. Just as it sounds, the ability to instantly become transparent and conceal his presence. But he only hides his form, not truly disappearing, so he can still be affected by external factors. However, when I summon Mordred, I use that enhancement stone with Ghost Step. So at this moment, even in his invisible state, Mordred cannot be physically interfered with. In short, an excellent assassin enhanced by an enhancement stone becomes even stronger. I then give him a simple task briefing. Mordred understands almost instantly. This is clearly the confidence of a veteran. How reassuring. After understanding the mission, Mordred immediately sets out for the enemy's headquarters. Not long after Mordred leaves, Lancelot seems to sense a mysterious gaze. This makes me somewhat nervous. Could the lizardmen be attacking? The next second, Lancelot leaps up and instantly vanishes from his position. When he reappears, a longsword is pressed against a spy's throat. Now I'll ask you a few questions. Your answers will will determine whether you live or die. With that, he grabs the spy by the throat. Fortunately, I stop him in time. I also get a clear look at the person's face. Isn't this Baek Myung-woo, my best friend? As these words leave my mouth, Lancelot immediately freezes, with 3 question marks flashing through his mind. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mordred successfully infiltrates the enemy's headquarters. He observes that the lizard men here vary greatly in size, growing extremely irregularly, but none of that matters. The urgent priority is to find that portal creature. A few minutes later, Mordred successfully reaches the deepest area and sees the fully hatched portal creature, and an unfamiliar old man who appears to be a mage. Besides that, there's a massive python. Just as Mordred thinks he's found important clues, he doesn't notice at all that what he's leaning against is actually a chameleon. Before he can realize it, the chameleon has already caught Mordred with its tongue, and flings him against the wall behind it. His invisibility is thus dispelled. Everyone then discovers Mordred's presence. The mage doesn't hesitate. He instantly summons a magic scroll, preparing to instantly kill Mordred. Meanwhile, knowing he made a mistake, Lancelot punishes himself in a way he read about in a book. This leaves both of us quite speechless, but we let him be. Then I have a detailed conversation with Baek Myung-woo. From him, I learn that his mother seems to be trapped at home, unable to move, and could be in danger at any moment. After all, that place is the enemy's lair. To make up for his mistake, Lancelot proposes going alone to rescue her. I thought everything would go smoothly, but unexpected things always happen suddenly. Lancelot never expected to encounter Mordred on the return journey, and he appears to be pursued by a group of enemies. It looks like the operation failed. This makes Lancelot curse under his breath to have things go wrong at this critical moment, but there's no time to think. Lancelot immediately has Mordred take over his task. Lancelot chooses to face them alone just to buy more time. As for the result, it's predictable. Before long, I receive news of Lancelot's elimination. I then learn the details from Mordred. Lancelot sacrificed himself to protect the intelligence Mordred gathered and Myung-woo's mother. What a great night. Of course, Lancelot isn't completely dead, since I can resummon him using enhancement stones and magic stones, but I still feel uncomfortable inside. Being able to revive and being willing to sacrifice are two different things. I don't know if I put too much pressure on Lancelot, causing him to make an unnecessary sacrifice, but since it's already happened, I can only reluctantly accept it. Just as I'm considering reviving Lancelot, Mordred interrupts me. He says Lancelot left a message before his sacrifice. Use that regeneration enhancement stone on Percival. Since it's Lancelot's request, I no longer hesitate. So that afternoon, a knight wielding a battle axe and shield appears at the enemy's lair. That's right, he's Camelot's strongest tank, Percival. Already renowned for his superior defensive abilities, he now has regeneration as well. He's basically invincible among same-tier warriors. The mage nearby sneers dismissively, thinking he's just trash, so he raises his hand to use a magic scroll. But the magic scroll seems to be sucked away by something and won't respond to his commands at all. That's right, it's me. I spent a full 5,000 magic stones to forcibly categorize it. As for the mage who lost his scroll, like a lamb to the slaughter, Mordred beheads him with one sword strike. Immediately after, Percival doesn't hesitate. With one axe blow, he's about to smash the portal creature. However, he's repelled by the giant snake hidden in the shadows. Seeing things going badly, the giant snake hastily grabs the portal creature, planning to escape and buy time for the main force. However, the moment it emerges, it happens to see me, the representative. It instantly realizes it's been tricked and prepares for mutual destruction, taking me down with it. But how can I let it have its way? One I-beam sends it flying several meters away, but due to the giant snake's massive size, it doesn't cause much damage. In that case, how about several more? But this time, the giant snake is already prepared. It rapidly spins its body, deflecting all the I-beams. Then with its slithering body, it instantly moves onto a tall building. Then it opens its enormous maw and spits out a heap of clearly toxic saliva. Yongsu can't dodge in time. The helicopter is hit. In just an instant, it's corroded with a hole. Seeing the situation, I hastily use product recall, storing the helicopter in the subspace. The next second, a brand new helicopter appears before the giant snake. This shocks the giant snake. The venom actually failed? What kind of ability is this? Before it can react much, two of Laki's spears pierce straight into its body, and that's not all. Immediately after, an ice spear precisely strikes. This ice spear is magic released from a scroll seized from that mage. It seems this attack is effective against the giant snake. That makes things easier. Come taste the feeling of being pierced by 10,000 arrows. As the words fall, countless ice spears rain down like a downpour. The giant snake roars in agony and is soon frozen senseless. But this doesn't seem enough to kill it, only temporarily robbing it of mobility. However, this time is enough for us to kill it using magic. Wind, rain, thunder, lightning magic. Basically, everything usable is deployed. Finally, after an hour of inhuman torture, the giant snake lies on the ground barely clinging to life, with only its last breath remaining. Before dying, it says something cryptic. Your dimension, in the near future, will also hunt other dimensions in turn. We had no choice, because the universe was set up as this kind of system from the very beginning. After saying this, its eyes lose their light and it completely loses its life. Ding, dimensional account ownership acquired. Current balance, 18,000 magic stones. I'm somewhat puzzled by its words, but I don't think too much about it. After all, what's most important right now is killing the portal creature. As for this task, naturally Eventually it goes to the professional dissector. After some time, the system sends a message. Dimensional account ownership acquired. Balance, 33,000 magic stones. Current total holdings, 51,000 magic stones. It seems they successfully found and killed the portal creature. Of course, besides magic stones, Mordred and the others also found 3 enhancement stones. I don't hesitate. I decisively use these 3 stones to revive Lancelot. With this, the great battle completely ends. Country A's management rights return to our hands once again. The enemy is annihilated, while we achieve a decisive victory. However, even so, we can't say this place is safe, because there are still orcs and wyverns, relatively primitive monsters, remaining. To completely eliminate the monsters and restore the nation's operations may take a very long time. But I believe that one day, Earth will welcome peace once again. And Inchon is just the first shot we fired. After the great battle, we decided to throw a party to celebrate our victory. All kinds of delicious food are available. This is all thanks to Chef Ju Wong Sik, brought by Myungwoo's mother. The dishes he makes are perfect in aroma, color, and taste, making people's mouths water. However, considering Kim Yul-ai's appetite, the chef's speed definitely can't keep up. So the chef only makes one variety, and the rest is replicated by packs. Just as we're celebrating heartily, another thing we're celebrating happens. My sister-in-law seems to be pregnant. That means I'm about to have a nephew. I suddenly feel like I've become an adult. Just as we're immersed in joy, the commander suddenly sends an urgent report. It seems something bad is about to happen. And indeed it is. I answer the phone and learn from the commander that Earthification is about to begin. Toxic gas from the western border is rapidly approaching the nation's interior. Besides that, there's another troublesome matter. Poisonous water spraying from the Walker portal could completely destroy the nation. And the most urgent situation right now is the inhaled toxic gas. It's not just gas invasion, but also massive insects. So we must first close the portal in the western border. The situation is indeed very urgent. Without time to think much, I immediately agree to provide reinforcement. But before that, preparations must be made. I upgrade the subspace again to see if there are any abilities that can help. Time arrives at afternoon. The subspace successfully completes its upgrade. A new feature is added, the ability to set up a fixed portal leading to the subspace. Called a fixed portal, this type of portal has some differences from the ones I normally use. The fixed portal remains anchored at the summoned location. Second, the fixed portal itself has no physical properties, meaning it can't act as a wall to block enemy attacks. But if permission is granted and one enters the subspace, then enemy attacks can be avoided. Although it's not perfect, just being able to enter and exit the subspace to retrieve items is already quite impressive. After setting up the portal, we bid farewell to everyone and immediately set out for Country B to close the portal. With Young-Soo's smooth maneuvering, I successfully arrive at the temporary transit station, where a captain from the 3rd Corps has been waiting for quite some time. Here we'll board this modified C-130 aircraft. Its speed is twice as fast as a Black Hawk helicopter. This news instantly catches Young-Soo's attention. Truly a pilot, his enthusiasm for vehicles is beyond comparison. I'm more interested in the modification technology. The captain doesn't hide anything. He directly states that the entire aircraft was modified by this engineer named James, who awakened mechanical abilities. Judging from his modifications, this guy is definitely not simple. If only I could have him working for me. Maybe he could create a flying motorcycle, or even a motorcycle that looks like a horse. But recruiting someone on the first meeting might be a bit inappropriate. Yet his abilities align so perfectly with mine. I have unlimited replication and inexhaustible materials. He has mechanical modification abilities. After sufficient mental struggle, I ultimately can't resist asking, James, do you want to join my team? James refuses without even thinking. His reason, we've only just met and he doesn't trust me. This reaction makes sense. So, rejected, I can only awkwardly prepare to leave. However, James suddenly changes his tone, saying he can help me, but there's one condition. I must help him return to his hometown. Such a simple condition. Of course I agree. So I open a portal and summon countless planes, cars, and motorcycles. You can modify or dismantle these as you wish. Consider them a gift. We'll meet again later. With that, I turn and leave, leaving a completely bewildered James behind. James feels somewhat regretful. He didn't know beforehand that I had this ability. If he had known, he would have followed me long ago. But there's no help for it now. Words once spoken cannot be taken back. Then Young-Soo pilots the aircraft and we depart. The next day, we successfully arrive at Country B, but this place has already been overrun by swarms of insects. The sight makes me somewhat nauseous, but since we're already here, there's no choice. Then we store the aircraft in the subspace. When we emerge, I'm fully wrapped in protective gear to prevent toxic gas invasion. At this moment, outside the portal, a group of martial arts swordsmen are already waiting. Leading them is Yun Yang from Shigang, the supreme commander here. After mutually exchanging intelligence, we arrive at an unfamiliar room. Here, a group of people wearing training clothes are meditating and circulating their chi, seemingly defending against the toxic gas in the air. Yun Yang explains they're using internal energy to dispel the toxic gas, so the air here is non-toxic. So I remove my protective suit and have a detailed conversation to learn the specific intelligence. According to Yun Yang, their bidding opponent was a dimension called Beldebor. They spray highly toxic gas. Ordinary awakeners and soldiers who can't use internal energy were completely annihilated. Martial awakeners who can use internal energy can detoxify, but detoxification consumes too much energy to participate in battle. Ultimately, the portal was opened. The number of insects multiplied geometrically, and it ended up like this. After hearing his explanation, I instantly grasped the key point. In other words, as long as there's fresh air, they can regain their strength. Yun Yang looks confused confused about why I'm saying this. I tell him to wait a moment and then step into the subspace. As soon as I enter the subspace, I have Pax bring me air canisters. Then, in the laboratory, I break down the canisters, leaving only the air mass, and register the air mass as a product. This way, I can get an endless supply of air. I'm such a genius. The martial artist awakener who receives fresh air again gradually regains color in his face and seems like he'll soon recover to peak condition. At this moment, Yun Yang stares at me with disbelief. Then he quickly gives me a 90-degree bow of gratitude. This makes me feel somewhat at a loss. This is exactly the kind of thing I'm worst at handling. I quickly tell him to get up. While we're in optimal condition, we'll begin the final battle in 3 days. I completely agree with Yun Yang's decision. But since we're going into a decisive battle, we should let the warriors relax properly. So the next second, plates of delicious food appear on the table. After eating, we immediately begin the battle meeting. From Yun Yang, I learned that the bugs here are basically tier 8. Tier 7 bugs can be spotted at a glance, and there are 2 portals. One is at Bakemang Mountain, the other is at... Before he can finish, a thunderous roar suddenly comes from outside. Looking closely, it's a centipede over 100 meters long. It looks like tier 7, but it's actually just a tier 8 small fry. Hearing it's tier 8, Kim Yul immediately becomes interested. She leaps down ready to fight. This time I don't stop her. After all, I trust Kim Yul. But only after she jumps do we remember. It seems we forgot to prepare protective gear for her. Just as everyone prepares to rescue her, a massive explosion suddenly comes from downstairs. Looking closely, Kim Yul has actually killed it with a single punch. This move completely stuns Yun Yang and Guan Ryong. She shattered the centipede shell without even using internal energy. Could this be the legendary heavenly martial body? Before Kim Yul can celebrate for more than a few seconds, toxic gas spreads across her body, causing her to pass out completely. Fortunately, with treatment from Yun Yang and the others, Kim Yul recovers. We begin a new round of planning. Here's a simple summary. First, the polluted atmosphere restricts movement. Second, there are too many bugs to eliminate one by one, and we still don't understand tier 7 bugs. Third, we must close the portals within 3 days at the latest. The ultimate goal is to destroy the portal core. Therefore, we need to reach Bakemang Mountain, where the portal core is located, as quickly as possible while avoiding conflict with those bugs. This is indeed difficult, but fortunately both portal monsters are in the same place. Although it's somewhat reckless, this is the best approach at this stage. We'll teach all our techniques to Miss Kim Yulars. However, compared to weapons, you seem to prefer hand-to-hand combat. Let Guan Ryong teach you the essence of martial arts. Kim Yul, I can't help but feel doubtful. Are there really such good things in this world? But she eventually agrees. And so the two begin their day and night training. As for Yun Yang, I don't plan to let him sit idle either. If I can squeeze out more benefits, I definitely will. So I bring Baek Myung Woo over, and I'm not idle either. While they're sparring, I keep thinking about how to exterminate the bugs. The first thing I think of is an electronic bug trap, but this only works on small bugs. It's completely useless against large bugs. However, my sister-in-law suggests letting her try. When she says this, I remember that she awakened alchemy abilities, and so a special effect insecticide is born. I can only say the effect is exceptionally good. Basically, bugs die the moment they touch it. Although it's useless against tier 7, it's more than enough for eliminating small bugs. My sister-in-law really is the best. With the help of the insecticide, we smoothly arrive at the final stage, Bakemang Mountain. But as soon as we enter, a massive bug appears in our view. This is definitely tier 7. Without hesitation, I immediately attack with I-beams, but it doesn't cause even the slightest damage. Before we can attack again, a giant spider appears behind us. At this moment, Lancelot has a flash of inspiration. He tells us all to climb onto the spider's body. This way, that locust won't blindly attack us. We do it immediately and climb onto its back. But before we can even catch our breath, that locust doesn't play by the rules. With one jumping attack, it instantly kills the tier 7 spider. Fortunately, we jump off in time and avoid disaster. But why would this locust attack its allies? Wait, no, it's just a bug from start to finish. Although it can distinguish enemies, it's not smart enough to consider allies' positions. In that case, as long as we climb onto the locust's back, won't we be safe? As soon as the words leave my mouth, everyone quickly takes action. The result is just as I expected. Unable to find enemies, the locust returns to its dazed appearance. Although it can't see enemies, enemies can see us on top of its head. Out of self-preservation instinct, the locust instantly kills the bee that comes to attack. This makes me realize this might be an opportunity to safely reach the portal. So I have Yong-Soo try to see if he can pilot this locust vehicle. The result is somewhat unexpected. He can actually pilot it, truly a master driver. So from then on, we ride the locust and fight through every obstacle. Finally, we successfully reach the depths of Bakemang Mountain. Now that we've reached our destination, Mr. Locust, please rest in peace. After praying, it's time to deal with these two portal monsters. However, this kind of thing should be done by the people of Country B themselves. So I give this opportunity to Yun Yang. I see Yun Yang holding his sword with both hands, silently reciting an incantation. Golden sword energy begins to gather around him. The next second, two sword beams precisely hit the portal monsters. The portal does disappear, but why hasn't the other one vanished? As the smoke clears, a massive black hand is protecting the other portal monster, and the owner of that massive hand is a giant fly. The aura emanating from it is the strongest I've encountered so far, aside from that eye. Its power has definitely reached tier 6. Facing such a powerful enemy, I can't afford any carelessness. I immediately summon the Ames Holy Lance to attack counterattack, but it's completely unharmed. That's absolutely ridiculous. Lancelot says we need to attack the portal core. Once the portal core is destroyed, it will be forcibly pulled back. Of course I know that, but how do we attract its attention? Suddenly something comes to mind, something bugs-like. Isn't it the electric mosquito and bug killer? After saying this, I summon it. The next second, the giant fly's countless eyes suddenly appear right in front of me. This terrifying scene makes my body completely freeze. My breathing becomes rapid. Seeing the situation, Lancelot quickly tells Mordred to destroy the portal monster. Mordred lives up to expectations and splits it in two with one sword strike. Dimensional account ownership acquired. Balance, 48,000 magic stones. Current magic stone holdings, 74,000. Dimension Beldebur has lost operating rights in the Western Border region. The Western Border region has been subjugated by Earth's domain. As soon as the system announcement ends, the giant fly disappears along with the portal. I breathe a sigh of relief. That was too close. When I saw it standing right in front of me, I was completely helpless. I didn't even think of hiding in the subspace. But at least we successfully repelled it in the end. But if we want to deal with those creatures, humanity must become stronger. So I find Yun Yang and ask him for the martial artist martial arts manuals. Yun Yang is naturally very willing. To thank him for his contributions to humanity, I set up a portal here so they can have better communication in the future. After setting it up, it's time for me to depart for the next location, the Walker portal in Country H. A few days later, I arrive in Country H. I didn't expect the headquarters director to be here too. There's also an unfamiliar woman here. According to the director, this woman seems to be Park Hee-yeon, the representative from Busan. Her purpose for coming here is the scheduled battle between Walker and Busan 7 days from now. If it were just an ordinary battle, that would be fine. But somehow traitors called the Awakening Society have emerged. Just like the first core, they've degenerated into something neither human nor monster. It seems they want me to step in and deal with the Awakening Society. Although I want to agree, these traitors aren't the same as the first core. After all, back then it had just started, and the highest boss was only tier 8, and now so much time has passed. The enemy will definitely have tier 7, and possibly more than one. However, when it comes to these traitors and foreign invaders, I have no reason to refuse to help, so I resolutely choose to agree. First thing first, improve everyone's physical capabilities. After saying this, I take out those martial arts manuals. As long as they train with these, the Awakener's strength will definitely improve tremendously. Second, find people to help. The person I look for is Song Hyun-gu. Hearing my request, Song Hyun-gu agrees without even thinking. So the forces we can now assemble include 200 Awakener troops from the Joint Chiefs of Staff headquarters, and 20 Awakeners, including Song Hyun-gu, James, who can modify machinery for everyone. The martial artists should be busy handling matters in the Western Border right now. We can only talk about that later. And finally, there are the 12 Knights of Camelot. This time, I plan to use all the enhancement stones I have to summon all the remaining knight members, just to increase our chances of success in this operation. With 5 days until the battle, we hold a fairly detailed meeting and put forward some practical requirements. Upon receiving orders, my father and James immediately begin work. My father is responsible for building a stronghold to defend against enemy attacks, while James is responsible for modifying a ship that can battle fishermen on water. And I take this time to return to Country B to invite the martial artists to help. Yun Yang agrees almost instantly, but I have a requirement. We can't mobilize all the martial artists. Just a few of the strongest fighters, including Yun Yang and Guan Ryong, need to help. Just before I leave, Yun Yang actually suggests that I duplicate his sex treasure, the Cloudlight Sword. This makes me freeze. Is this really okay? Yun Yang says it's fine. If this sword is given to someone who needs it, our chances will be even higher. Hearing this, I can only agree. After all, I can't let down Master Yun's good intentions. Thank you for your hospitality. I will definitely give this sword to someone who needs it. As for the candidate, someone immediately comes to mind. It's my good brother Baek Myung-woo. After all preparations are complete, the day of the decisive battle arrives. Countless fishermen appear on the sea surface, each looking fierce and aggressive. However, these advanced troops are basically all tier 9. Any one of the 12 knights can easily wipe them out. What's more, we have so many tier 8 reinforcements. Soon the fishermen are beaten into a complete retreat and flee in disarray. What's going on? The fishermen are directly retreating. The lizardmen had 3 tier 7s back then. The Western Border also had several tier 7 bugs, but they only have this much strength. Although I don't know what they're planning, there's no escape route in front of James's masterpiece. Young-soo, please sail directly to Walker. Receiving the order, Young-soo immediately drives this massive vessel forward at high speed. After some time, we've been heading to Walker for 2 hours now. But aside from the fleeing fishmen, we haven't encountered any other monsters. Is this calm really reasonable? Could it be that I'm being lured by the enemy? If that's all it is, their tactics are terrible, full of holes. Could I have guessed wrong? Just as I'm thinking this, a whale-like sound suddenly comes from outside. The next second, a giant whale bursts skyward. This is clearly a locust-level monster. If we let this thing reach Busan, it will definitely level the place. We must stop it here. After saying this, I immediately launch I-beam attacks. I thought it would be as tough as the locust, but it seems I was overthinking. Just a few I-beams are enough to instantly kill it. Is this supposed to be a lure tactic? It's way too weak. No, wait, I can't relax yet. There will definitely be powerful tier 7s on the road ahead, but bring it on. I'm ready. Under my vigilance, another 10 minutes pass. Young-soo reminds me that we've arrived at Walker. This leaves me somewhat somewhat stunned. How could we cross the sea so easily? Is the real fighting force on the continent? So I still can't let my guard down. The real battle starts now. To be safe, I have Mordred go invisible to gather intelligence. After some time, Mordred successfully infiltrates the enemy headquarters. A giant salamander is severely criticizing its subordinates. Behind it is a fish with a massive build, and there's a humanoid monster with an extremely terrifying face. From their conversation, Mordred obtains 3 clues. First, they unexpectedly deployed all their forces, while I was still imagining they had higher tiers. Second, the humanoid monster who can be called Branch Director. I don't know how strong he is, but this guy can actually make the floating regional designation disappear. And also, what is this devilfish they mentioned being locked underground? They seem very afraid of it. Too many suspicious points. I don't plan to overthink this. Let's just see how things play out. Just as I finish speaking, Mordred pulls out a set of keys. These were taken from the headquarters. Perfect for checking out this so-called devilfish. So we arrive at the prison location and use the keys to open the door. I originally thought the devilfish would be an ugly, menacing fishman, but in fact, he's just an ordinary human with no apparent danger. So we release him. The rescued man hastily expresses his gratitude and removes his eye patch to introduce himself. My name is Stoddage. I'm an ordinary person, but the Awakening Society likes to call me Devilfish. Really? Shouldn't the devilfish be some extremely powerful monster? But this seems somewhat unreasonable, Stoddage explains. Rather than being afraid of me, they're more afraid of the seal on me. The ability I awakened is sealing. I can designate a target and seal it inside my body. The larger or heavier the designated target, the more severe the side effects. I only learned this when sealing the devilfish. The devilfish is an extremely powerful monster, absolutely the strongest among tier 7s, but it attacks indiscriminately, not distinguishing friend from foe, and its outer shell is incredibly hard. Attacks can't hurt it at all, so all we could do was seal it with my ability. Many people participated in the operation with me. Everyone helped each other and finally succeeded in sealing the devilfish. But there were traitors in the team. Just when I finished sealing the devilfish, they took the opportunity to ambush me, but they were afraid that if I died, the devilfish would be released. So they locked me here, keeping me alive by infusing nutrient solution every day. Thank you so much for saving me. I quickly waved my hand saying I only did what should be done. Then from him, I learned that this sealing ability has no limit on the number of uses. That makes things easier. I've thought of a perfect way to solve all problems. That is to release the devilfish. With the devilfish's power, it can definitely eliminate the fishman here. So after some time, the system announces the death of the Walker representative. Then it's time for Stoddage to finish things. Although Stoddage is surprised, he still begins to act. He lifts up his shirt. He wants to dramatically remove his shirt to impress everyone. But unexpectedly, the shirt gets stuck on his head. But that's not important. As everyone knows, being cool is a feeling. As long as you feel cool, that's enough. So Stoddage resolutely walks into the crimson flames, then activates his ability and seals the devilfish back into his body. After sealing it, his whole body goes limp and he collapses to the ground, no longer having his previous confidence and coolness. Young-Soo rushes over upon hearing the commotion, and then sees me doing something improper to a naked man in broad daylight. After my explanation, he realizes it's an ally and quickly helps him, preparing to return to the subspace. At this moment, the system suddenly delivers a message. It states that the victory reward will be explained by the Upper Council's Country H branch. Seeing this branch, I instantly think of that humanoid monster Mordred mentioned. Before I can think too much, a spherical barrier appears before us. Rather than calling it a barrier, it's more like a building so perfect it's somewhat eerie. Inside are 2 monsters with an extreme height difference. The larger monster, without saying a word, directly devours a pile of magic stones and seemingly enters a berserk state. This leaves me confused. Why are we fighting again? But when the enemy provokes like this, how can we not fight back? 3 holy lance shots precisely pierce through its abdomen. Looks like it only got bigger. Its strength hasn't increased. The branch director's expression slightly freezes upon seeing this. You must know, this is a tier 7 he specifically spent countless magic stones cultivating. He didn't expect it to fall so easily. In that case, the branch director decisively abandons this useless waste and instead invests 14,000 magic stones in me. Actually, Country H was originally quite good. My original plan was to use Country H as a base to gradually occupy surrounding countries, but now it seems Country A is actually not bad either. If you need magic stones, I can provide more to you. However, I have one condition. As a victory reward, you'll get a portal to Walker. Once you obtain this, please help me. I'm rather shy. Having my office exposed like this makes me unable to concentrate on work. Just have Country A's Architect Awakener help me rebuild a structure to cover the office. As soon as he finishes speaking, even the Awakening Society's leader understands the branch director plans to abandon them, so he grabs his spear and strikes directly at the branch director, but it's blocked by a green light. This seems like repulsive force, but something seems odd. Even if the repulsive force is strong, there should at least be some basic force from the attack. Could this guy be higher than tier 6? Hey, what tier are you exactly? The director speaks indifferently. Tier? The upper council doesn't have such things. You could say tier 0. Suddenly the branch director changes the subject. So do you accept the suggestion I just made? This counter question catches me off guard. I'm very clear that if I refuse, he alone could eliminate us all. But if I agree, we become puppets, just like the Awakening Society. So I can only ask him to give me some time to think. Seeing my hesitation, the branch director continues. Existences with abilities like yours are countless across dimensions. That guy with sealing just now also has abilities similar to yours, doesn't he? So even though I said I want to invest in you, don't test my patience. When he says this, my brain sort of freezes. So you're saying he doesn't actually know how overpowered my ability is? It seems they're not omniscient. Then I don't need to be their puppet. Sorry, I refuse. Since everything's done, I'll be going. After saying this, I turn and walk away. This leaves the branch director completely confused. What's going on? I invested in him to prevent the office's secrets from being leaked, but he's completely unreceptive. I don't know if he's foolish or has another plan, but I just need to find a suitable guy and secretly eliminate him. Actually, I have no plan and I'm not foolish. When I first heard it was the upper council tormenting us, I wanted to fight them head on. But this guy is too strong. Opposing him is clearly asking for trouble. Even if he proposes joining forces, I don't have that idea, because I don't want to become an invader or a puppet. I believe my ability will definitely become stronger in the future. The best approach at this stage is to pretend to retreat. Speaking of retreat, something comes to mind. This branch director seems to have been covering that office from start to finish. What would happen if I recalled it? No sooner said than done. The next second, the entire office completely disappears in an instant. If I can't beat you, at least I can mess with you. That felt amazing. The branch director looks at this scene with some disbelief. In just an instant, his head seems to be hit by something and explodes directly. This leaves me completely stunned. What's going on? Should I not have saved that office? Will I also have my head explode like him? To verify my suspicion, I tentatively take a step outside. Everything seems normal. Good. Anyway, things have come to an end. I'll think about it slowly later. And so the Walker Portal incident comes to an end. Country H welcomes a brief period of peace. Stottage, as the representative of City K in Country H, returns to manage the situation. And it's time for me to explore this so-called branch office. At first glance, it seems quite ordinary. There are no documents or anything like that, just a vast whiteness. Can't see anything. At this moment, Pax appears before me in a new form. Not only has the appearance changed, but it also seems more human. Then Pax explains the four major functions of this office. First is the message transmission system. It can only transmit to qualified targets within the region, and the content writing format has many restrictions. Second is the satellite observation system. Like the first function, it can observe locations that meet regional conditions. Third is the holographic image adjustment system. It can modify or set holographic images, which are part of the visual system. The last one is the dimensional entity registration form, but your hardware level is too low. Currently, Tier 7 is the highest level you can apply for. When this is said, my heart immediately starts pounding. Now my subspace can not only observe but also send messages and apply for tiers. In other words, this is no longer just a simple fulfillment center, but a comprehensive logistics command center. Wait a minute. If I can send messages, I have a good idea. On the other side, Kim Yul sits bored on top of the city wall with no interest in killing enemies. It's not that she doesn't want to show off her skills. There's simply no opportunity. These knights are simply not human. Wait, they're literally not human. They've basically killed all the invading fishmen. Suddenly, Yun Yang exclaims from below, "How amazing. Miss Kim, I didn't expect you to be level 999. When did you gain so many levels?" Kim Yul subconsciously looks back, and then sees the title level 999, number 1 under heaven. For some reason, she has an intuition that I did this, and I happen to return at this moment. What a coincidence. On the other side, I seem to sense an inexplicable murderous aura, and the source is emanating from Kim Yuli first. Fortunately, I'm prepared in advance and take out the Tier 7 registration form. But when Kim Yuli sees it, another wave of anger rises. There are actually conditions, and this condition is that the organization's membership must reach 50,000. This gives Kim Yuli the feeling of being played, so my fate is predictable. Fortunately, Pax comes out to explain. Simply put, it's something like an organization. But how to recruit 50,000 people? This is another problem. Suddenly, a good method emerges in my mind. That is to use Pax's remote delivery service. And what's being delivered is Yun Yang's Cloud Light Sword. However, it's now a benefit for joining Pax Fulfillment Center. Through this method, I quickly gather 10,000 people, but it's still far from enough. So we go to Busan to set up a portal. This way we can expand the subspace's reconnaissance range. The method is indeed good, but soon the problem of overcrowding appears. This situation can easily lead to stampede incidents. For this, I plan to have the headquarters director lead the military to manage the portal. Upon hearing this, the director immediately becomes excited and agrees almost without any hesitation. So ultimately, my organization's membership reaches 40,000, still 10,000 short of Tier 7. Just as I'm immersed in joy, a new problem appears. A non-hostile dimensional entity has been discovered. It looks like a squirrel. As soon as it appears, it puts on a pitiful and helpless appearance, begging me to save it. It seems to genuinely have no hostile intent, so I have it tell me what happened. Seeing that I have thoughts of helping them, the squirrel seems to grasp hope. After a simple exchange, I roughly understand their situation. The Magnan tribe's dimension seems to have been destroyed due to invasion from other dimensions. Now they need shelter. This reason I can understand. Just like Earth being invaded by other dimensions have certainly also suffered invasions. If we can't stop the invasion, will we become refugees like them and wander everywhere? Did only you come to Earth? The Magnon responds. That's not the case. I originally had many companions, and I'm the leader guiding my companions. So after arriving on Earth, we originally went to settle in mountainous areas, but it wasn't safe there. Due to my misjudgment, many companions were eaten by monsters. The remaining companions should be hiding somewhere. After all, their sense of smell is very keen. The word smell catches my attention. Yes, our sense sense of smell is very keen. Thanks to this, we can avoid monsters and live in hiding. For example, me. Right now I smell the scent of goblins coming from the 3rd floor next door. I immediately have Mordred go confirm. A few minutes later, Mordred walks back covered in blood, carrying a goblin's head in hand. It seems his ability is indeed excellent, especially in searching for enemies. This is practically a real-life super navigation system. No way, they must join us. After thinking this, I extend my hand of friendship. Although I can't fully empathize with your sadness over your dead companions, we've also suffered enormous losses due to invasions from other dimensions. So we're the same kind of victims. If you don't mind, why don't we get along well? I can help you find your companions. After saying this, an invitation to join the organization pop-up appears before the Magnon. The Magnon agrees decisively without even thinking. System notification: Magnon Tribe Group Representative applies to join PAX Fulfillment Center. Magnon Tribe Representative Soren's member count: 110,065. Seeing this exaggerated number genuinely startles me. With this many members, won't I be able to reach tier 7 soon? This is truly an unexpected gain. At this time, I still don't know. On the foundation of 40,000 people, suddenly adding over 10,000 more means I have to go find all these 10,000 plus members. To reach tier 7, I next begin the long march to find Soren's companions. Soon we arrive at a peak called Snow Crocodile Mountain. I know this mountain. The climbing difficulty is extremely high, but that's okay, we have a helicopter. The helicopter comes into the air, but due to the mountain's poor landing conditions, we can only have the Magnon smell for his companion's scent from the aircraft. Unfortunately, the wind created by the helicopter disperses the scent. In the end, we still can't avoid the fate of climbing. To make the journey less boring, I specifically invite Lancelot to come with me. Perfect opportunity to learn about my subordinate's past. Lancelot is naturally willing, but Lancelot reminds me this isn't a pleasant story. Vast plains and dense forests, as well as treacherous mountains and deep seas. This dimension, containing multiple ecosystems, is called the Avalon Dimension. Because multiple species coexist, the residents of the Avalon Dimension learn the rules of survival under the threat of monsters. The basic skills one should possess for survival are hunting and gathering. Even children who just learned to speak hold hunting tools in their hands, showing how warlike they are. But as civilization developed, war began. The power once used against monsters eventually became blades turned against their own kind. For the sake of ridiculous power struggles, this civil war lasted hundreds of years. When everyone was exhausted, a young knight emerged. The knight stopped this absurd war through peace and persuasion. The knight who advocated love gained everyone's respect and was crowned king. The king's name was Arthur. Under the throne were 12 knights, now known as the 12 Knights of Camelot. The swords of the Camelot knights no longer pointed at their own people, but became unbreakable walls protecting Avalon. This brought Avalon's prosperity to its peak. Until one day, a portal appeared in Avalon's sky. They were dark mages from the Barnaul dimension. They were unbelievably powerful. The king was killed, and the 12 knights were turned into artifacts. All residents of Avalon were cursed and turned into undead. Hearing this, I have mixed feelings. This is too outrageous. An entire dimension destroyed. Suddenly, the Maggie rat pats my stiff face, indicating it found a companion. As soon as it speaks, rustling sounds come from the nearby bushes. Another chubby Maggie rat emerges from within. Soren bursts into tears of joy upon seeing it, and they embrace each other. After talking, the chubby Maggie rat says it knows where the other tribe members are, and so word spreads from 1 to 10, 10 to 100. We eventually spend a week finding all the scattered Magnon tribe members. Looking at the dense crowd of Maggie rats before me, I feel deeply moved. Although this period has been tiring, it's all worth it. Then I set up another portal and say exhaustedly to the Maggie rats, as long as you stay near the portal, monsters won't attack you. If you need anything, just take it from inside the portal. Hearing this, the Maggie rats thank me again and promise to help us with all their strength. Thus, the Maggie rat version of super navigation goes online. With their presence, finding invaders becomes extremely simple. Humanity's counterattack begins. Monsters have nowhere to hide, nowhere to escape. At this moment, I calmly look at the piles of documents PAX has organized for me. Everything seems stable, but why do I still feel an inexplicable sense of unease? Just then, PAX suddenly appears, saying it intercepted a document from the upper council. I really saw this coming. PAX, open it quickly. PAX organizes the key information: self-rescue plan for Earth Dimensions Country A and Country H due to sharp revenue decline. Decision to merge with Oceanic Region. What does this mean? Not bidding but merging? Which dimensions are they merging with? Moving to the next page, the dense text immediately makes me give up. Seriously, why write so many words in one document? PAX, simplify it for me. Receiving the command, PAX immediately begins simplifying the content. Meanwhile, I take this time to gather everyone to think of countermeasures together. After confirmation, the upper council has two specific objectives: increase national revenue and reduce the number of non-contract holders, transfer the Elbenheim continent to the ocean, and forcibly make both sides go to war. So we can't escape war after all? At this moment, Big Sis is thinking about something. Wait, Jongyeom, things seem different. They're forcing both sides to go to war. Doesn't that mean the aliens from Elbenheim continent will be forced to become invaders? Hearing this, it suddenly dawns on me. Right, if they're also being invaded like us, can we clear up the misunderstanding and prevent war? Lancelot says, that's true, but we need to make contact first, at least before the announcement is fully issued. As soon as he finishes speaking, Pax indicates that Elbenheim has already been transferred to the ocean. Already transferred? Then what are we waiting for? Big Sis stops me. What if they have different ideas? What if they're primitive, life forms we can't communicate with? Damn, that's also also a problem. We'll think about that when the time comes. A few hours later, I hold binoculars, intently observing the other side of the ocean. I see two filthy children touching the seawater with their hands. The water they touch becomes crystal clear, as if they're purifying it. They look just like elves, just a bit dirty. But they seem quite kind. I feel they think the same as us. Though they look skinny as a rail and not very reliable, they should be allies anyway. Let's show some goodwill. With that, I use my delivery skill and launch a package. The package stops steadily in front of the three elves. The elves initially think it's a challenge letter or something, all looking worried. But when they look closely, it's actually a pile of fresh vegetables. For elves who've been hungry for so long, this is truly a gift from heaven. Thus, I successfully communicate with the people from Elbenheim continent. I'm John Guillaume, representative of PAX Fulfillment Center from Country A. Upon hearing the name Country A, all three are startled. Judging from your reactions, you've already received the announcement about the impending war. But rest assured, we don't intend to go to war with you. We came here to tell you that all of this is the upper council's doing. Hearing this, the male elf trembles all over, repeatedly murmuring, right, it seems we finally met like-minded beings. I'll take you to negotiate with council leader Eri. To shorten the journey, I have Young Su drive us forward quickly, so before long we arrive at our destination. Looking around, the elves here all seem filthy and small in stature, like the elderly, weak, sick, and disabled. Moreover, the buildings here are all old. Overall, it's like a particularly harmonious village. While I'm thinking, the male elf reminds me that we've arrived. I see a dilapidated cylindrical building standing on an endless grassland. A few scruffy-looking men are chatting inside. Aren't we going to the capital to see the council leader? This place is too, the male elf explains. This is the symbol of US elves, the Galadorn Council. This shabby building is the council, so this remote backwater is the capital? Just then, a stern voice interrupts my thoughts. From their conversation, this female elf must be council leader Eri. At this moment, Eri also notices that we feel embarrassed about our recent behavior. Embarrassment aside, we still need to discuss business. I thought they'd be very willing to cooperate with us, but Eri flatly refuses. We don't communicate with anyone, nor do we invade others. But remember, anyone who attacks Elbenheim, no matter who, must die. This statement stuns me. I'm thinking, they're clearly all elderly and weak, so why are they so arrogant? You're not only confident, but also very certain. Seeing the council leader being so rude, Lancelot decisively draws his sword, demanding that council leader Eri apologize. I nod, inwardly appreciating Lancelot. He said what I wanted to say. But the next second, the female elf suddenly flashes in front of Lancelot and firmly presses down his head. I heard humans live for 100 years. 100 years for us elves is barely past adulthood. Long lifespans also mean experiencing long years across multiple dimensions. During these long years, we've been fighting for survival. Therefore, most elves have reached tier 6. Like that elderly elf earlier, most have reached tier 5. Someone advocating peace draws swords against me and wants me to apologize? I've seen too many liars like you, now it's my turn to give you a chance. Kowtow and apologize to me. You're going too far with this. He only drew his sword. You're treating him like this and talking about kowtowing? What kind of joke is this? What's so hard about it? I'm sorry, please let Lancelot go. To ensure my apology is sincere enough, I deliberately do a handstand kowtow. Only then does council leader Eri release Lancelot. Continuing the earlier topic, we won't invade, but anyone who approaches us, no matter who, will be considered invaders. Understood? I'm speechless. You're way too closed off. This isn't being closed off. Just us not invading other dimensions should be enough to be thankful for. What's wrong with us wanting to wait quietly for death? Hearing this, I'm confused. Do you think waiting for death is better than receiving help? Is it your pride? You should compromise when there's such a good opportunity. Why? Mid-sentence, Eri stares at me, her eyes full of killing intent. This scares me into quickly lowering my tone. Why say so much? My stupid mouth? Seeing that I genuinely want to help, Eri sighs helplessly. I don't want to explain. Just come with me. With that, she turns and walks away, giving me no time to think. Damn, what's with this person? She's not planning to kidnap, imprison, or torture me, is she? No, I can't think like that. If there's danger, I'll just run into subspace and escape by plane. However, after seeing the elves training, my escape plan vanishes completely, council leader Eri says calmly. She's too slow. Her level can't keep up, so she's training separately. Are you joking with me? This level still can't keep up? I get it now. Even if caught in a tiger's den, staying clear-headed only means dying clear-headedly. I'd better behave. A few minutes later, Eri stops, indicating we've arrived. I see a tree emitting green light. No, a sapling, struggling to stand on the ground. This is the world tree. It has been supporting us, allowing us to continue living on this cursed continent. It was originally a towering giant tree, once so magnificent, but from a very long time ago, it gradually shrank. Back then, we were defeated by a certain dimension. After defeat, not only us but the entire continent was cursed. Thanks to the world tree's tenacious resistance, we've survived until now. After speaking, Eri falls into thought. I instinctively ask who did it. Hearing this, Eri looks disdainful. Your tier is so low. What's the point of telling you? This makes me helpless. I hastily say I can try helping in other ways. Fine. Telling you won't hurt. There's no harm anyway. It was the dark mages from Barnaul. This statement immediately stuns me. I remember Barnaul. Wasn't that what Lancelot mentioned? This place also suffered from dark mages? Why did they do this? While I'm thinking, a green orb appears out of thin air in Ares' palm. This is nature's force. Barnaul greatly fears both nature's force emanating from the world tree and the power of elves who can wield it. I don't know if you're aware, but among elves, there are those born with nature's force. They have horns on their heads and are called high elves. To build rapport, I lie that I just saw some. This statement indeed catches Ares' attention. Where did you see them? Most of them died at the hands of dark mages, though some are still alive. I smile awkwardly. Really? I knew I wasn't mistaken. Before I finish speaking, Ares continues, but they disappeared during the transfer. Damn, why doesn't she say everything at once? Sorry, I guess I was mistaken. Alright, that's the situation. You should understand fully now. Please leave. Before leaving, I glance at the world tree, thinking to myself, if one world tree can resist the curse, then if I just replicate it, won't that solve the curse problem? Pax shows there's no such category yet. I see the fulfillment center has plants though, so I try it. As expected, it can't compare to the world tree. It seems I can only upgrade Subspace. Level 5 Subspace can already accommodate the upper council. If it's level 6, it should be able to categorize the world tree. Upgrading to level 6 requires 100,000 magic stones. I currently have 68,331 magic stones. I'm still over 30,000 short. While I'm pondering, Aerie has already brought me back to the plaza and tells me to return on my own. With that, she turns to leave. I ask her to wait a moment. Then I summon large quantities of vegetables and fruits from Subspace. Aerie is completely shocked by this scene. Don't feel pressured. Enjoy them. This is a gift. I'll come back soon. Just as I'm about to enter Subspace, Stoddage walks over. After a friendly greeting, Stoddage says most of the fish people have been dealt with. Only one Sapru octopus with a portal core escaped into the sea. The octopus's attack range is an 800-mile radius, while mine is only 500 meters. This is really tricky. Right now, I need someone who can attack from long range. The only one who can do this is the elf standing behind me. Well, since you accepted this food, I'd also like to ask you for a favor. Aerie looks disdainful, saying she'd never help even if it meant death. In the end, I offer to double the food. Only then does Aerie agree to go out to sea with me. I see Aerie tie up her hair, hold a bow and arrow, and draw the bowstring fully. She releases an arrow. The arrow cuts through the air with a whooshing sound. The next second, it hits precisely. That's absolutely incredible. Although I'm happy the monster was eliminated in one hit, where's the portal core? How am I supposed to gather 100,000 now? No magic stones means no upgrading, no replicating the world tree. Do I have to secretly go back, save up magic stones, then secretly return? That won't work. She'll definitely try every way to refuse me. At this moment, Aerie stares at me blankly and says, according to our agreement, I eliminated the monster. Give me the food quickly. I say no problem, but can you give me the magic stone you just obtained? Aerie looks disdainful, full of doubt. What do you want that thing for? And offering large amounts of food in exchange? That's way too deliberate. It would be strange if you didn't have some scheme. Hearing this, I break into a cold sweat. I wanted to make up some excuse, but that would only make her more suspicious. In that case, honesty is better. Pax, continuously deliver fresh vegetables until I say stop. Command received. Pax starts delivering food rapidly, from large watermelons to small grapes. At this point, I'll tell you the truth. My ability is that anything stored in Subspace, I can replicate infinitely, and I plan to store the world tree, then replicate one to help you. I know this is hard to believe, so that's why I'm opening Subspace to show you. Aerie stares intently at the wildly appearing food. Then let me see. I have plenty of time anyway. And so, under Aerie's witness, Pax continues delivering, until the food piles up like a mountain. Now you should believe me, right? My Subspace can replicate infinitely. Though I don't know if it can drop infinitely, the quantity is indeed massive. But how can I trust that you'll return the world tree after taking it? I try to reassure Aerie. After all, the world tree is just a sapling to me. Aerie becomes even more suspicious. If it's just a sapling to you, then why go through so much trouble to help us? I hesitate for 2.5 seconds before slowly speaking. Well, I just think you're a bit pitiful. As soon as I say this, Aerie freezes. Don't you go from meal to meal barely eating? And whether children or adults, all are pale and emaciated. You look too pitiful, so I want to help you. And if we're being honest, aren't you the same? If you invaded other dimensions to plunder, you wouldn't go hungry. But why don't you do that? As I speak, Aerie recalls something. A very long time ago, Grandfather Chief often told her about 2 words: coexistence and mutual prosperity. We don't reject competition, nor do we say we must be friendly to everyone. Competition can promote development and prosperity, but competition aimed at destruction ultimately can't bring prosperity. Therefore, coexistence and mutual prosperity are needed. What you hold in your hand isn't just a fist, but can also be friendship. You can extend a helping hand when others need it, and join hands when someone wants to help you. Her thoughts return. Aerie calmly looks at me, speaking earnestly. Then she turns her head. Jean Guillaume, if in the future we need to search for the high elves who are somewhere in the world, please help us. Hearing this, I'm somewhat stunned. Although I don't know what happened to change her mind, this suits me perfectly. No problem. Then, Aerie transfers all the magic stones just obtained into my account. Subspace completes its upgrade. In that case, let's start delivering world trees. As soon as I finish speaking, large boxes with parachutes descend from the sky. Inside are world trees cultivated in pots. All the elves burst into tears of joy, crying while planting. On the other side, the 12 knights planting trees. As soon as they touch the world trees, their whole bodies start itching. The scene seems somewhat familiar. Isn't this just like in Subspace that time? Just as I'm about to say we should return to Camelot first, an aged hand stops me. It's that elderly person from the council earlier. The elder tells me not to panic. Then, with lightning speed, he pats each knight's head. As soon as he finishes, Lancelot and the others say their bodies aren't itching anymore. This really surprises me. Speaking of which, there are tier 6 elves, right? Doesn't that mean they're the same level as that fly monster I saw in Country B? But you can't tell at all from their appearance. All power in the world will never concentrate in one place. Nature will also change according to our actions. So within the ever-extending laws of nature, there must be a way to return them to their original form. With that, he turns and leaves. I'm bewildered by what I heard, but thinking about it, perhaps this elder knows some way to restore Lancelot and the others. So I invite the elder to tell me more. The elder doesn't hide anything and frankly says 2 things are needed. One is nature's force powerful enough to overwhelm dark magic, and high elves skilled in using nature's force. As for high elves, there's a candidate, but I don't know if they're dead or alive. As for nature's force, perhaps letting the current world tree grow for 150 years would be enough. As soon as he says this, I wonder if there's something wrong with my ears. The elder continues, there's another method to speed it up. Repeated injury and healing. However, the world tree is quite tough. Ordinary attacks are basically useless. Wait, injury and healing don't seem too difficult. Isn't Camelot an artifact that absorbs life force? I act immediately. I take several world trees into Camelot. Sure enough, Camelot absorbs life force and starts mass-producing enhancement stones. This is so great. I don't have to worry about not having enough enhancement stones anymore. Then let's simply enhance some equipment. Let me try Lachesis' Holy Lance first. Enhancement failed. Insufficient C-rank enhancement stones required. What the heck? C-rank enhancement stones? What's that? Opening my inventory, I find all my enhancement stones are D-rank. How do I make C-rank ones? For this, I specifically seek out the knowledgeable Ari. Ari says I just need to find dwarves. Dwarves can process C-rank enhancement stones. Hearing this, I sigh helplessly. I'd like to find dwarves too, but this is Earth. Where are there any dwarves? Hearing me say this, Ari reminds me, Earth should already have dwarves now. After all, it's not just one dimension being integrated this time. This news stuns me, but since they exist, I'll leave it to luck. With nothing pressing now, it's time to visit Country F, which is also James's homeland. So I find the branch director for a meeting. The director says Country F is very dangerous, especially on the way through the sea. As soon as aircraft approach, they're attacked by unknown creatures. Monster attacks, I'm not worried at all. The plane James modified should easily get through. I thought James would readily agree, but he says he wants to stay obediently in Country A. This is something I didn't expect. Going home should be everyone's wish, but why does James give up so readily? James, didn't you say you wanted to return to Country F? James gives an explanation. I'm not a god. Modifying the aircraft takes too long, possibly longer than crossing the ocean. Second, my idea is to upgrade a warship. Crossing by ship is more suitable. As soon as he says this, the branch director interrupts. The director says the Earth's crust has changed, causing weather changes too, so traveling by ship might be more dangerous. I say it's fine. Even if there's danger, I can hide in subspace. If you're really worried, I'll bring bodyguards. That's right. My bodyguards are Big Sis and the powerful Ari. A few hours later, we prepare to set sail. I wanted Big Sis and Ari to come inside to avoid the wind, since the director said the weather is different, but they refuse. I'm helpless about this. I can only let them do as they please. After sailing for some time, the sky's weather suddenly changes. One second it's calm, the next second fierce winds howl. Seeing this, I urgently tell them to come inside, but the response is still refusal. I'm completely speechless. Whatever. This level of attack can't hurt them anyway. I'd better rest for a while. The next day, the weather returns to calm. Bright sunlight shines on the deck, appearing so harmonious. However, the two on deck break this beauty. After a night of battering, both are covered in various seafood. These two must have something wrong with their heads. Do they want to become pirate kings? Coming into the cabin, Yong-Su reminds me we're almost there. This startles me. The original week-long journey was shortened to one night. Could it be affected by dimensional fusion? Although somewhat uneasy, regardless, we've safely arrived at Country F. Yong-Su returns to rest since he's been sailing all night. Before leaving, he says this is Fernia Port. It's exactly opposite from James's hometown, City L. We don't understand Country F's situation yet, so we need to be careful when we act. Then I slowly say to the two beside me, this time we need to act slowly, gather intelligence along the way, and keep a low profile. As I speak, the fishy smell beside me becomes unbearable. Wait, from here on, I'm going to act alone. As soon as I say this, Big Sis's expression changes drastically. She warns me in a threatening tone to think clearly before speaking. This statement scares me into a cold sweat. I can only helplessly change my words, telling them to change clothes before coming out. While they're changing clothes, I wander around this dilapidated city. The desolate environment and quiet atmosphere make me shiver involuntarily. Soon, sheets of paper posted on the walls successfully catch my attention. They look like newspapers, though they seem to have been posted a long time ago. They mainly seem to discuss battles between regions. Other than war, there don't seem to be any other clues. Suddenly, a half-torn newspaper appears before me. It clearly states that City G has a mine, and City G is right next to Fernia Port. Perhaps I can go explore there. Just as I confirm the intelligence, Big Sis and the others come out and change clothes. Big Sis wears a sports outfit, while Ari wears something light and cool. I really want to say no, but I'm afraid Big Sis will hit me, so I can only let it be. Then the three of us get into an off-road vehicle and quickly depart for City G to find the mine. Along the way, we come across a tavern. It looks quite clean, so there should be people. We get out to gather some information. Who would have thought? As soon as we push open the door, a group of fierce-looking men stare at us in unison. Their stares make us uncomfortable. The naive Ari and I can still tolerate it, but the usually proud big sis can't stand it. She unleashes a verbal barrage at everyone. An old man nearby sees how arrogant the newcomers are and already places his hand on the pistol at his waist. Just as he's about to pull the trigger, an unfamiliar man interrupts. The man immediately greets us warmly. "I'm Park Dong-guan." I'm a bit confused, but out of politeness I reply, "I'm Jong-gyom." The man invites us to sit down and drink. I don't think much of it. As soon as we sit down, the man quietly tells us not to provoke them. They have enhancement bullets that can even ignore tears. And tell your companions not to dress so revealing, or something might happen. I'm somewhat confused. Before I can say anything, a man holding a revolver slowly walks toward us. He even places his filthy hand on Big Sis's shoulder. He even pats Big Sis's solid pectoral muscles with his gun, speaking provocatively, spewing obscenities. 1 second, Big Sis is still calm, but the next second, her expression changes drastically, and killing intent surges from her body. Then she clenches her fist, gathering all her strength, and strikes. The man doesn't even have a chance to react before he's sent flying through the roof. I helplessly touch my forehead. I knew this would happen. Now we can only run. After saying goodbye to Park Dong-guan, I decisively take the two and quickly evacuate, giving no one a chance to react. At this moment, Park Dong-guan looks at the hole punched through the ceiling, lost in thought. If it's them, perhaps they really can do it. Without time to think further, Park Dong-guan decisively chases after us and stops us as we're about to leave. "You're going to the mine, right? I can guide you, but first, listen to what I have to say before deciding whether to go." I'm somewhat confused, but tell him to talk as we walk. A few days ago, Park Dong-guan and his good friend Gordon came to a mine that suddenly appeared. Besides them, quite a few people were already lined up to enter. After a long time exploring, they eventually found dwarves. After greeting each other, the dwarves warmly invited humans to freely mine enhancement stones here. But the dwarves underestimated human greed. Even though the enhancement stones here are infinite, people still fought over territory. They even turned their aggression toward the kind dwarves. Human greed made them lose their rationality. They shot and killed dwarves. By the time Park Dong-guan and Gordon noticed something was wrong and wanted to retreat, it was too late. A goblin, after devouring human flesh and blood along with enhancement stones, became extraordinarily strong. Park Dong-guan and Gordon fled in panic. With the exit in sight, Park Dong-guan tells Gordon to push harder, but it's too late. Park Dong-guan escapes, but Gordon is caught. After that, no one else came out or went in. The story ends as we arrive at the mine entrance. Park Dong-guan says he wants to go in with us. Of course, I agree. After all, having a guide will make our journey relatively easier. Inside the mine, it's indeed as Park Dong-guan said. The scene is quite gruesome, with severed limbs everywhere. Soon we come to stairs made of wooden planks and ropes. They look a bit winding, but for my navigation sheet, it's a piece of cake. Suddenly, Soren sniffs an unfamiliar scent. Large body, extremely fast, definitely not human. Since it's not human, I don't need to hold back. I decisively deliver Lackey's holy lance. The expected instant kill doesn't happen. Instead, the holy lance is deflected by tough skin. What's going on? This is the holy lance traveling at 500 kilometers per hour. Seeing my attack doesn't work, Aerie starts cracking her knuckles. Just as she condenses nature's force into her fist, the monster's roar grows more distant. It seems to be scared off by Aerie's aura. Aerie turns and asks if we should pursue. I say it's not necessary. Hunting isn't our main purpose. With that, we continue forward. After walking some distance, Soren again sniffs a strange smell. A bit like bad breath and blood, but definitely a living person. Without time to think, we quickly run in the direction Soren indicates. Before long, we see a dwarf lying on the ground, gasping for air, barely alive. He looks severely injured, likely attacked by a monster. I want to take him to Subspace for Big Sis's treatment, but Soren warns that something is approaching again. This makes me pause. Didn't we just scare it off? Why is it back? At this moment, Aerie's expression is ice cold. She offers to handle it personally. As someone embraced by nature, what I can't stand most is kind people being harmed. The monster charges at us at sprinting speed, its expression seeming to say it will annihilate us completely. But what greets it is a fist glowing with green light. This is Aerie's casual strike, condensed with nature's force. Even though it's just a casual strike, it's enough to easily kill this monster instantly. After dealing with the monster, I carry the dwarf into Subspace and have Big Sis help with treatment. After a long while, the dwarf regains consciousness and jolts awake from his nightmare. Looking at the unfamiliar environment and humans before him, he immediately panics. Only after my explanation does the dwarf calm down. Then we learn from the dwarf that he's the only dwarf who survived in the mine now. But there are two monsters. One was transformed from a goblin, and the other is Gordon. As soon as he says this, Park Dong-guan is stunned. The dwarf explains. That day, after Gordon was dragged back into the mine, I used enhancement stones as bait to divert the monster's attention. I seized the chance to rescue Gordon and brought him to where we dwarves store enhancement stones. I thought we could safely wait for rescue, but several days passed. Outside was still the monster's roar, and we were out of ammunition and food. To prevent both of us from starving to death, Gordon decided to sacrifice himself, swallow enhancement stones, become a monster, and buy me time to escape. I thought Gordon was just making an interesting joke, but his expression was unusually calm, even resolute. Although I tried hard to dissuade him, Gordon remained unmoved, leaving only one sentence. I was already dead at that moment. You don't need to feel burdened by this. At that time, I wanted to leave with my family, but someone stopped cowardly me, Park Dong-guan, my best friend. I didn't want him to regret saving me back then. Though I feel guilty toward him, I miss my family now. It's time to make a choice. This is my only selfish wish, so please. When I heard him say that, I knew persuasion was useless, so I decided to help my friend one last time. That was to take out a hammer and grind the enhancement stones into powder. After doing all this, under my friend's gaze, I opened the door and walked out, and Gordon began swallowing enhancement stones. The whole process seemed cautious, but I overlooked one thing. The monster could hear the hammering sound. Fortunately, Gordon, who had become a monster, appeared in time and pinned down the other monster. But by then, he'd lost his rationality. After that, I was clawed and left barely alive. Finally, you found me and brought me to Subspace for treatment. Hearing the dwarf's account, Park Dong-guan's face is full of disbelief, his heart full of guilt. The dwarf continues, although Gordon became a monster to eliminate the monster, he doesn't want to continue living as a monster, so please, let him rest in peace. Anything I can help with, I'll assist you with all my strength. This catches my attention. I hastily ask if he can process C-rank enhancement stones. The dwarf Brook says, C-rank enhancement stones require 10 same attribute D-rank enhancement stones to synthesize, although I have countless enhancement stones, perhaps because they're all obtained through Camelot. I don't have any with divine attributes. Simply put, I can't enhance Lacus's holy lance, so I can only enhance firearms and bullets. My first choice is a handgun, not only easy to carry but also powerful. With a target, I immediately start simulating enhancement. Unfortunately, I have few durability enhancement stones, so I can only enhance to +3, able to withstand 1+4 bullet, but it doesn't matter anyway. Both firearms and bullets are infinite. While I'm enhancing, Park Dong-guan finds me, saying he wants to send his friend off one last time. I want to say it's too dangerous, but seeing his resolute attitude, I swallow those words. In the blink of an eye, the three of us plus one rat arrive outside. Gordon senses our presence and quickly charges toward us. Park Dong-guan, tears in his eyes, picks up the handgun I enhanced and aims. He fires one shot, silently saying, "Rest in peace, my friend." Gordon is killed on the spot, transforming into an enhancement stone radiating brilliant light. After that, we erect a tombstone for Gordon. It's built in a cemetery not far from the mine. Returning to the mine again, Brooke holds the enhancement stone Gordon dropped and says, "This is a Dominion stone. It's a stone that can command guardians. As soon as the Dominion stone is activated, a group of stone statues suddenly appears in everyone's sight. So these are the guardians. They're truly massive. Besides this, there are many magic stones nearby. If people coming later discover them, a war is inevitable." Ari slowly speaks. "That's right. This is the Upper Council's method. Create division and make people kill each other." On the other side, Brooke hands me the Dominion stone that controls the guardians and tells me to give a command. Though I'm confused, I still take it, and I give the command to go outside the mine and hunt monsters. The guardians just shake for a moment, then freeze. It feels like something's broken. Brooke explains that guardians can only operate within the mine, so they probably can't execute that command. Then aren't they just for show? Better to just take the magic stones. When magic stones are mentioned, Park Dong-guan comes over and says he doesn't intend to claim any rewards from this mine. He'll leave everything for me to handle. This stuns me. His explanation is, being able to send my friend off one last time is already enough, and if I take rewards, it's equivalent to insulting the sacrifice my friend made. Seeing his resolute attitude, I don't plan to decline. I summon packs to start collecting magic stones. The total amazingly reaches over 100,000. What an exaggerated number. I didn't expect to so easily earn back the magic stones consumed upgrading Subspace recently. Facing this man who values friendship so highly, I extend an olive branch. I invite him to join Pack's fulfillment center to co-manage this mine. Park Dong-guan looks bewildered, his mind seemingly unable to process. I don't force him. Instead, I bring him back inside Subspace and use food temptation. Park Dong-guan takes a small taste and can't hold back anymore. Just a simple bowl of noodles evokes his memories of sharing hardships with Gordon. Tears flow uncontrollably.